pop.
Oh.
I'm glad I unmuted. No, I unmuted literally the second he stopped speaking.
Okay, Joe, again.
I can mute it again. I have the thing open.
I have the power.
I don't want to have to do it.
No.
Well, welcome back to Natural One, the show brought to you by teens who love cooking.
I sure do love you some
Brought to you by Kids Bop 73.
Is Kids Bop nothing?
Yes,
Yes.
sadly.
Of course it is. It will never die.
They're on like 36 right now, I think.
They just recently parodied or fixed Old Town Road.
How many bops can these kids come up with?
They're supposed to be bopping next.
Joe!
They're kids!
Thank you for watching Natural One. We've canceled ourselves, actually.
Okay, time for me to watch the Kids Bop Old Town Road.
Play it in the chat.
No. Where we last left off, the party met with all their allies and
variation.
some adversaries and said that to them.
We dropped off Ruby and all in the castle.
After-
And now we're in Bella Villa.
After having a council with all of their allies and the magnate and learning more about the current situation of them releasing a demon, the party decided to travel to Alaric's home to meet some people that he thinks might be there. Additionally, the ghost, one of their allies in quotation marks, left them a present who they tortured, interrogated, and then threw into a portal.
Oh wait, guys, we forgot to drop off Ruby. Let's go back.
I take another
back.
27 hours to go back. But they leave with Ruby, Volman, Skazbran, and Keone alongside them in the cart. Head to here on the map. It's not sticking there, but there on the map. And then another 11-hour ride to Bella Villa through the astral plane. The party get out, stretch their legs, take a bathroom break in the fort, and then head on out.
Like,
You can sleep in the
or
cart.
do we sleep in the cart?
You can sleep in the cart.
Just really cramped.
But over the course of about a 27, 28-hour journey, you guys finally arrive with a sudden stop in Bella Villa. And the door opens as Jeeves pokes his head around in his new pirate hat that was gifted to him by Mark. Says, we've arrived.
Thank you very much, Jeeves.
Yeah.
We all...
Fantastic.
Christ, my legs hurt. Oh god.
Your legs hurt. How do you think I feel? Your legs were literally almost breaking mine.
It's a very big cart.
I'm saying that we should have gotten like a shrink potion for you, so you could drink that. It would have been
I could
comfortable for
just
everybody.
cast reduce on him.
Yeah, but you didn't. You
That
didn't.
only lasts like a minute.
I can extend it to 24 hours, I think.
Can you? That's actually
Nobody
pretty
thought
nice.
of it. Nobody thought of this while we were in the cart.
Well, next time we're on a trip, we can go on our favorite
We will.
rocket ship.
Yeah. Keep at least a spell, please, so that when we leave and we put him in the cart, we can shrink him, so all of us are comfortable.
You know,
Again.
one day we should try and like tie Greed to the roof with like rope and just see what happens.
Do you really
Yeah,
think that
no,
work?
it's not gonna happen.
No.
It'd be funny though.
It'd be funny, but he'd probably die.
Speaking of tying things to the roof, what happened to your roosters?
They're still somewhere.
You never got them off the boat.
Man,
I'm about to
roosters.
pick them up. Whatever. I drink a reborn potion in case I didn't say that. I don't know if you remember.
You said that at the beginning of this. I think no, you bought two last session. You didn't drink them.
Yeah, I drink one so that I have.
Well, in any case, what's the area around us look like?
You step out of the cart onto what appears to be a slightly sandy stone road. There are a lot of buildings around you.
Old Town Road.
It doesn't appear to be a very large city, but it is well populated and pretty dense. There are a few stone towers sticking up among the buildings, but most of them end in brick roofs with yellow stone making up the majority of them. Traveling up hills, creating large swaths of buildings that are layered almost on top of each other, but behind each other on stone walls. You see vineyards around, just in the city, just greenery everywhere on the buildings.
This is a lot of
Yes, and there are large cloths
Are there any
just
orphans
hanging
around?
out. make a perception check. There are large cloths, yellow and red, hanging around. People in very fine silk clothes just lounging
We get it
and
in
walking.
Spain.
You guys have arrived
So,
in Spain.
Also, this episode of Natural One is sponsored by Dasani water.
As Vesper drinks Dasani water.
Agree.
Agree.
No, I'm drinking Big Red right now. But
Agree. You don't notice any orphans. Most of the people here look pretty well kempt and put together.
Is anyone shocked that a portal to the abyss, or sorry, to the astral plane is just, you know,
The
hanging
the
out
way
in
it
middle of
the way it looks is it just kind of like runs up really quickly and stretches and then pops in. It's harder to
Yeah,
notice,
bottom.
kind of. So
Rock.
it's not too terribly jarring, but if someone was standing right in front of it, it would be. But there doesn't appear to be anyone directly around you.
Alright,
Well,
yeah,
Alaric, lead the way.
yeah, before we go straight there, let's just take a look around, see if we can get ourselves an inn or something. Because, you know, just a backup plan, I guess.
All right, so you guys can look for an inn.
Yeah, just kind of look around for an inn. I can ask around and just, like, talk to people.
Yeah. You actually make an investigation check
Alright.
and tell me what you get. Actually,
I got 7.
7. Not the greatest.
No.
You begin asking around. Some of the people seem a bit not taken aback by your presence, but you and your group look very out of place with everyone wearing open shirts and jewelry and very fine clothing.
I have specifically that they're taking like, oh god, he's back.
Oh god, it's the poor people.
Right.
Not a lot of people you run into instantly recognize you by your face, especially since you've aged and grown your hair out.
I got a bunch of scars.
And got a lot more scars. Most of your face is just scar tissue at this point. As Vesper rips open styrofoam, apparently.
Actually, I was closing a box. My bad.
But
Could you mute yourself, you
They-
fuck?
Vesper.
he just cries Vesper,
Right.
and he's dead. People kind of lead you in the direction of the more market area.
Which person specifically?
A
What's
very
your name?
a very tan-skinned, half-elf individual. Do you even want to know his name? He's an elf.
What's your name, Melf? Are
As
you
I-
an elf? Are you a half elf or a full elf? Are you like a drow? Are you a
It-
shadow elf?
It
What
it
kind of elf?
appears to be a half-elf, tan-skinned, dark hair, kind of scruffy beard that goes into a small, like wrap, like metal wrap that pulls it down further. Are you actually asking him his name?
Yeah.
My name is Ellis. Pleasure to meet you.
I reach out to shake his hand.
I reach out to shake yours. You don't look like you're from around here.
Could you tell? I'm still in my fancy clothes.
He's not from around here, but the rest of us are. Well, not the rest of us, but me at least. I don't know where these guys are from.
It is not the rest of you. He kind of squints at you a little bit, like looks you over. You do look like you've been around. Not sure from here. You seem to be
Oh, I'm from
adverse to the sun.
Nope, I'm from here. Trust me.
Well,
He doesn't get out
uh,
much, you know how it is.
I left a couple of years back. You wouldn't happen to know anything about this old vineyard, would you? I happened across this old wine, and I was hoping that it was still in operation.
which one in particular? There are quite a few here.
Well, the name on the bottle was Arius.
Aedes. It was run down for quite some time, but it has been brought back up recently.
Huh.
It's currently
that's,
making wine. Not as good as it used to be, but produces far more and more variety.
That's good to hear. Any idea who runs it?
I believe her name is Lorelei.
All right.
I
Wow.
assume she is of the Aetius family, but I am not sure. Most of them scattered. Are you related?
kind of a hard question. I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Well, if you're looking for it, it's on the back end of town near the more mountainous region.
Yeah.
It's got the really long vineyard goes out back into the plains.
And if you could show us just a little in here, you know, I'm not going to show up claiming I'm family and be wrong. It'd be rude.
Well, of course.
But,
He just leads you through the market district where a lot of people are just kind of buzzing about, but they don't seem to be in a hurry. People here seem to be very loose with their time, at the least. They appear to take their time just walking around enjoying the scenery, even though they've lived here.
Just extremely familiar to me.
Yeah. It's a breath of fresh air for you.
Yeah. As we're walking through, I just kind of explain, like, you know, everybody here, there's usually some kind of festival going on. I assume we didn't show up on a weekend.
It is.
I'm gonna whisper down to him. Do you know this Lorelei person?
Whisper to Alaric or to the.
Yeah, Alaric.
Okay.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I'll go find out. Could be anybody. I haven't heard my family names in years, so if that's somebody I know, then hopefully they're more aware of me than I am of them. But in any case, welcome to my home. It's a
Your
relaxed
home
place.
is named after a restaurant that's near my house.
Says a man who reaches out of Gree's mouth. But you guys did arrive on the 24th of Foray, Prope, which is Sunday number 3.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
I know. It's
I know.
24th
Yeah,
of
so
basically
that's
24th of April, Sunday number 3, because there's 10 days in a week.
Yeah, so I assume then maybe the festival is going to be tonight then.
I'm not sure what's planned tonight. Probably a musical festival. There are quite a lot of bards in town.
That'll be very pleasant. I think we should all attend. Just something to get our mind off of everything.
I'll tip him a gold piece.
He takes it. It is much appreciated, but I don't think I look like I am in need of money, and he hands it back to you.
Alright. Does he drop us off in front of an inn?
He does. He leads you to the Ghastly Harp.
What's your backstory, Elias?
Well, you see, my mother was a whore.
Very successful.
What job do you do in this market? Which tax bracket are you in, right, Vesper?
Okay, so I shake the diary that I mysteriously materialized in my hand.
The secret diary.
Yeah, you gotta give me a secret.
Bounces from character to character, apparently. The tavern he leads you to appears to be a very wide, tall, yellow brick building with a sloped red brick roof. Lots of greenery just climbing up the side of it and different banners just hanging off of it. Alaric, make a history check. I know you're great at those.
Yeah, it's been years, so we'll see how well this goes. History.
That's pretty good. You would recognize, not the building in particular, but the area it's in. This was probably another tavern that received a lot of renovations over the years. You remember this place specifically being a very prominent location where you'd find iron doors who are traveling from missions or to missions.
Alright. So yeah, we just enter the inn, and I assume it's just full of people.
There are it's a very large inn. There's probably about 20 or so tables that could all fit at least 6 people. About 4 with Roger and Mark's size. But most of them are full. There's people on a stage performing lute music. A lot of wine on the tables. A lot of food out. And busy waitresses bustling around.
Alright, so I just Alright, you guys can go do whatever you need to do. I'm gonna go talk to the innkeeper. You guys can just sit down, have a couple of drinks on me. Just tell him I'll pay for it. Drink yourself silly. Just go over to the bartender. I ask for a cup of Aetius wine, and then just kind of start to ask around about the iron doors and the Aetius family.
Okay, make a persuasion check. 24. The barkeep appears to be this kind of pinkish, purplish skinned tiefling with long white hair. Appears to be male. horns are very short and stubby. He pours you a glass of the Aedes wine. This stuff is quite expensive, sir. Are you sure? You look well traveled.
Positive.
That would be 2 gold.
Yeah, just I pay him the 2 gold. Matter of fact, I pay him 10 gold and I say, take a bottle over to those guys over there.
As you point, he kind of looks over at the blue man and the green man and the giant man. Odd company. Will do. And he snaps his fingers and one of the waitresses takes it.
Well, around when you're as world weary as myself, you tend to make some odd company. I tell you what, though, you're as trustworthy as well, most.
You look well traveled, as do your companions. They don't look from around here, but you almost fit the bill.
It's been years. It's been a long time since I've been home. But more on that later. About the Adius family and the Iron Doors. I'm looking to hire them.
The Iron Doors, well, they do not use this place as a base of operations. They simply come here for drinks after they finish doing whatever it is they're doing. There are a few in the back. It kind of points at one of the tables a bit further back. I believe one of the more higher-ranking members are here. You can tell by the very large shields taking up seat space.
Yeah, I remember this place being a good old meeting spot for them.
More so in recent months. You must have been gone for quite a while. They were killed. Most of them were killed, it's assumed, around 20-something years ago. I'm not exactly sure. Slave revolt. This was back when we had slaves here. Brutal system. I'm glad it's gone, but I don't think they deserve to die. The father killed and crucified. The mother, unsure. The children, unsure, but they have not been seen in quite a while. You're the first.
Well,
You're not the first. Another gentleman has been asking about them, but not many in recent years. Mostly just asking about their wine.
What about this other gentleman? Don't mind me asking.
Similar to you, actually. Heavily scarred, hair covering most of his face most of the time. Didn't stay long. He and a teenage, I believe, human female and a young human male. They all wore hoods. They were quite sketchy. They didn't stay long. I didn't allow them to buy a room.
Well, that's a shame, but
Had a long...
where they went? Any messaging on where they went?
Unsure, but they are most likely headed to Trigol. That's where most people seem to go, especially through these mountains.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, Harana has been having a bit of difficulty. There have been a lot of bandits near Odavalo. It's not safe to travel through there, so people take our mountain pass. The Iron Doors are currently working on cleaning it up.
Well, I appreciate the information. I'll go talk to the Iron Doors and just kind of pass them 5 gold for the trouble.
Thank you very much.
I just kind of go back, try and find the Iron Doors. Not hard to find. I assume that they're giant fucking shields.
Yeah, the Iron Doors are in the back, taking up 2 tables. There's about 6 of them. However, their shields take up seats with them, or are placed like behind them. They have very, very large shields. Most of them appear to be human, but there appears to be one dwarf who's kind of very loud and drinking a lot of ale instead of wine like the rest of them, who is drawing them in, so to say. He's leading the conversation with both of these tables. Big red beard, short red hair, and very cold eyes, but at the same time they're very warm, at least in color.
So I just kind of lean back and listen in on the conversation.
Alright, make a perception check.
Alright.
Or investigation, either or.
Well, investigation's just 1 more higher, so let's see how I roll that. 6. I can roll a number 1d6.
This dwarf has got a thick accent. 10. This dwarf's got a thick accent. A bit different than everyone else. He's shouting and drinking at the same time as he's talking. It just appears to be them reminiscing about things they've done. Probably pretty recently. You hear bandits a lot, and you hear bandits dying a lot.
Yeah, so after about, like, let's say 2 minutes, just sitting there listening in, I just kind of walk in and they're sitting at a table?
Yeah. 2 tables that have been, like, pushed together.
Pull up a chair, sit down, fold my arms and say, "You guys looking for a job?"
As the dwarf is like finishing a story, raising the ale in the air, 2 cups, they kind of just all kind of crane their head towards you. And he puts them down, like kind of set back a bit. Aye? Who's asking?
Well, I like to consider myself a bit of a soldier. My name is Alaric. You may have heard a few things about me.
Might
looking
have.
for strong soldiers. I'm looking for the defensible type, the kind I can rely on. None of you guys would happen to know anyone like that, would you?
They kind of look around, silent for a moment, and they all kind of just break out laughing, slapping their knees, and banging on the table. Well, of course, you're looking at them.
Well, now,
You know who
that's nice to
you
hear.
know who we are, right?
I've heard
He's just like leaning like to the side, giving you a better glimpse of the giant shield behind them.
I've heard a couple of things here and there. Something about hunting bandits and the like. Am I correct in that assumption?
That's
Something about these big. You guys got big doors or something. I've heard.
With the iron doors, we've been taking care of a few bandits for the king, but that's not our main goals,
Oh, that's pretty
nor our
good.
modus
Anyway,
operandi. It's
how's
good
the-
work.
how's the pay look?
Quite fine, actually. Not a lot of us get sent, though, so those who do get to reap the rewards.
And let's say I was looking to hire a good bunch of you. How many are there?
There's about 250.
250. That's quite a lot of. That's quite a lot of men. Oh, I think I'll take 250 of you. How much?
They kind of just are looking at each other. You got that much money?
I might. That's why I'm asking the price.
Not sure if I could sell all of them. I'm not the leader. You have to talk to him, but I'm pretty close. All of the men I've become acquainted with. It'd probably run you in the 10,000 range.
10,000, huh? That's a pretty big change. It's quite a bit of money, but I can afford you. Oh, I can get all of you. But like I said, you may have heard a couple of things. I happen to be working with quite a few interesting individuals. You may have heard of them.
I've heard of a gathering over in Je ne sais, was it? A lot of people coming together. A lot of shady types.
A lot of
Some
shady types.
some becoming quite successful in the political world, as in your mention of Ruby.
Well, I like to bring people together. I'm a man who believes in second chances, but let's hope I can get some more muscle.
Well, if you're asking for the iron doors, you can't ask for better.
I hope so. Now, 250 of it for 10,000 gold. I'll talk to your leader. We'll see what we can do. Point me in the direction, and I'll be sure to head his way come tomorrow.
He's still into the goal, but when I say 250, you should know, minus him, he doesn't do much of the work. Most of the coin counting, he does that.
This coin counting doesn't sound like much of a leader from the front.
He's a tactician. He's, I wouldn't say very fit for war anymore.
I still got use for tacticians. Not everybody can rely on their own mind.
Well, if you're just asking for soldiers, you won't get him.
I'll see what I can do.
But
when he
I'm-
comes back from Dragal, let me know.
I'm second in
Fine.
command. Name's Rainin.
Nice to meet you, Raina. I kind of stick out my hand.
He kind of like leans all the way over the table, shakes your hand.
It's a pleasure to meet the like-minded folks. It's been a long time since I've been a part of a mercenary band, but we can talk about that later. I've got some of my own fellas waiting for me, but I'm glad we had this talk. I'll see you in the morning, maybe.
I'll keep in touch.
I just kind of walk away, sit back down at the table with everybody else.
You guys are all playing mahjong.
With the snakes.
I'm gonna pull out 10 of you and give them some more.
What kind? The wine that was brought to the table.
Yeah.
All right, you just pour it in.
Oh no, there's still a thimble in there.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna reach in.
He's like holding the holding the thimble up.
Please, Dad, please.
I'm very thirsty.
Okay, well, you know what? Don't be so mad.
I'm in a jar. What do you mean? Don't be so mad. It's been
Be
2
happier.
months.
Be happier.
I'm trying.
Well, you know what? You didn't tell me what your favorite food was.
I want out of the jar.
That's not
Really should
food.
let him out of the jar mark.
Can I have some wine, please?
I already gave him some wine.
Did you give the thimble back to him?
Yeah.
Okay. He's just like sitting down. He like, pours it on top of himself and just soaks it up.
That's kind of gross, actually. Shouldn't you let him like out to take a shower and to shit? Isn't there shit in there?
He doesn't.
He's a mushroom.
He's a mushroom. He doesn't have to.
We're saying shit accumulates.
Oh, he's a
doesn't
mushroom.
They don't defecate.
Don't shit.
They have a butthole.
They don't.
No.
I've seen it.
You've held the jar up and
Got a magnifying
Investigated.
glass.
I spent years. Doing
I got a natural 20 on my investigation check.
My butthole check.
But in any case, everybody, it's gonna be 10,000 gold for the 250 of them, which, frankly, I think is pretty affordable. I can do it just fine. Besides that,
Say
apparently,
there's what, 4 of us, so that's 2,500 each.
I can
I'm
pay
not
it
paying
myself.
for rent.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
okay,
worried
well.
about that.
Never mind then.
If you guys want to donate, I'd appreciate it, but I can pay the most of it myself.
I was about to ask where'd you get the money from, then I remembered you kind of have like a fishery.
A whorehouse.
Hey, yeah,
Actual
why
mercenaries.
do I not get a cut from the whorehouse?
yeah, we should all probably get a cut from that.
I should
Now
get a cut
you,
from the
hey,
whorehouse.
I remember telling you guys about this, and you all said it was stupid.
No, I never said the whorehouse
No.
was stupid.
Yeah, he joined the whorehouse technically.
But, being that I did buy it, I will give you guys a small cut for helping me as long as
No,
I
that's
can.
okay.
I mean, you
Look,
did give
look,
me half of it
I
when I
didn't-
came with you.
I
I
gave you
didn't-
half the fishery.
I didn't help
That's
you at
what I
all with the
promised.
fishery. I helped you with the whorehouse, though.
I mean, there was really nothing to help with the whorehouse. We kind of
He took over the mind of Gore and made him do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I will give you guys a small cut of the whorehouse.
Well,
However,
I'll
the
let you-
fishery, I made the deal earlier that you would get half of it for that once. But you will get a cut of the whorehouse
You did
when
not
we
say
get back.
that once. You said I would get half.
You would get half.
Oh, the rich arguing about their
You
money.
got half.
I'm the like third poorest person in this fucking.
But
That's not a high
it's
metric.
10,000. I will pay the 10,000 when we get back. I need to get all my money back eventually, but yes, you guys will get a cut of everything.
I'm not asking for that
I
much.
don't want any.
A quarter would be
Except
fine.
for green.
A third. Like it's
Anyway.
your establishment. I just
Anyway.
help.
10,000. That's
I
the
just need
price
to-
up front with these guys. That's not including their leader, who I'm gonna have to talk to at some point. Besides that,
We should probably
Uh,
talk to him and see if we can get the price. Not now.
well, he's in a different city right now,
I
so we got
mean,
to travel there. Not that hard, but we'll do it.
we are trying to fight a demon. They might want to do it a little bit pro bono. I don't know what that word means, but you know what I'm saying.
If I mention demon, I guarantee that 250 of them will turn their backs and run. I'm waiting. Anyway, I'll pay it. I'll have them sent over. Shouldn't take too long, but in any case, apparently my old family winery is still up, and someone's been going around asking about my own family. So we'll pay a visit there tomorrow. Then we'll head over to Tragle, see how that goes. But until then,
Triggle,
everybody
triggle,
just
triggle.
It's true goal.
Fergal. Until then, everybody just, I guess, rest and recuperate tonight. I'm gonna get a couple more bottles, and then
We've been in a carriage
Throw
for the
myself in
last
my
3
bed.
days.
you guys can go do whatever you want. Explore my culture, my city. I'll meet you guys out there in a few hours. I'm just
Do you
gonna
know any place with good alcohol? Like
any
fine,
bar,
fine
literally
stuff.
any bar. We are famous for our wine, first of all. Second of all, if you're looking for harder alcohol, we are kind of a trade place, so find it anywhere. Hell, you could ask the bartender, see if he's got anything stronger.
That's what I'll do. Oh, I'll head up to the bartender.
Alright. You see the same purplish tiefling, white hair. Yes, sir. Oh, you're quite big. Yes, what would you like?
What is your finest alcohol?
Our
Price
finest?
is no object.
Our
yeah.
finest, it would probably be... Hold on, let me look in the back. He kind of,
Need help?
moves a few things out of the way, pulls out this almost gilded in gold red glass wine bottle, with a black cork. This is the Montagu family. It is very old.
How much?
For the bottle,
Yes.
about 450 gold.
400.
Make a persuasion check. This is a very old wine.
21.
However, 400 sounds quite agreeable.
Take it.
Alright,
So that's Montague wine?
Montagu. It's like Montague, but without the N.
I would say that this isn't Romeo and Juliet.
Count of Monte Cristo.
It's the Count of Monte Cristo's wine.
Thank you for your wine.
Anything
I'll put it
else?
in my bag. No, thank you.
Is your companions looking for food? You appear to just be drinking wine.
The fat one is. Did he already pay for the rooms?
Alaric did not buy rooms.
How much for 2 rooms?
2 rooms, it would fetch about 4 silver each.
I'll just toss him
2.
2 gold.
Okay, he takes it. Much appreciated. With the prices and just the sheer size of it, you can tell this place is a very well-off establishment who make a lot of money and cost a lot of money.
I mean, that's not a lot of money.
For the average person, it is. 400 gold wine, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, for the entire bottle, like that'd be quite a bit for a glass.
That's almost the price of an actual house in this place.
Yeah, it's some good shit.
Well, I'll just go and tell him we have rooms.
Roger walks up, holding this very fancy wine bottle, and tells that you all have rooms. Or 2 rooms, at least.
Oh, that's good to hear. What wine did you get?
Montague.
Montague. Jesus. Jesus, I
Sounds
don't know what that
fancy.
is.
But
Alaric, that family has been dead for about 80 years.
Yeah, so I just kind of, when I hear that, I sit back and I say, "You just bought a relic. That, I'll tell you, that wine right there. You take it to any other country, any other continent, you can sell that for thousands. That family's been dead for so long, nobody knows the recipe for that.
well, I plan on drinking it when this is all over.
The better the feet, the better the wine.
As soon as I hear I plan on drinking all of it, I just kind of stop and I'm like, all
Listen,
right, I
When
can't
this
stop
is all
you.
over, I'm going to drink so much alcohol, I'm going to be pickled.
I can't stop you.
Roger
that
dies.
Roger dies of liver
That
failure.
you're going to drink all of that
Liver
wine does hurt me
cirrhosis.
deep to my core.
I mean, if you
But
would like
enjoy
a
it.
glass, you can ask me when I'm drinking it.
Yeah, give me a glass.
Not now.
Yeah, but
But-
later, when
yeah.
you've got time, I will take a glass. It's not every day you get to drink a relic. Mark, you want one?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's not gonna do anything.
Mark is a wine
It's
expert.
It's not a matter of Mark. Listen, I know you can't get drunk anymore, and that
Well,
is sad. However, it's a matter of
Taste.
Mark hasn't tried to get drunk since he stopped breathing.
I was never able to get drunk.
actually,
Yeah, Greek can't.
actually, it says I don't need to breathe, eat, or sleep, but you never specified drinking. Do I still have to drink
Oh,
water?
You don't have to drink water. You can.
Okay.
It's like a robot. They can eat. They don't have to.
Speaking of Mark, could you contact my grandfather and tell him to talk to my father?
Why don't you get some like sending scrolls or something?
Because you're my sending monkey, please.
What am I supposed to do again? I
Just,
wasn't paying attention.
just tell my grandfather to talk to my dad, and that's it.
Okay.
It's really important.
Why would we do this now?
Because I forgot.
All right,
Okay,
what do you?
I'm
Same. Do it like at the end
gonna
of the
call
day.
him.
It is the end of the day. It's night.
I'm gonna just say, bro, talk to your son. That's it.
Okay.
That Roger said to say that. Oh, sorry, I mean Boker. Boker told me to say that.
All right. A few minutes
I
pass.
thought Boker was a good name.
A minute passes. And no response.
Tell him I got no response.
You can put you on that call waiting.
You do know, though, however, the spell doesn't work if they're dead, so you know they're not dead.
Or on a different plane, right?
Yeah. Or on a different plane.
So he's alive, and
He's
he's...
probably just asleep.
That just it wormed its way into his dreams.
Could be on another plane of existence. That's true.
I mean, it wouldn't work. If
Yeah,
it was on
the spell doesn't go through if they're on another plane.
I know. I'm
No,
saying.
there's a 5% chance.
Oh, well, I didn't have your roll percentage, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he could be sleeping, or maybe he's doing something important. Maybe he's with your grandma right now.
That's what I'm saying. But as long as you
Maybe
got the
they're-
message,
Maybe he's throwing his fuck into your grandma.
that's what I said. But I'd rather you not say that.
You don't like them.
Suddenly, the ocean crashes through.
The ocean is right there. It could,
Yeah, it's a coastal city.
Well, in any case, what time is it?
Well,
It
in
is.
any case.
You guys left probably around end of the day, traveled for 28 hours. It's pretty late in the night.
Yeah, so probably around this time I get up and I say, well, knowing the city, a festival's gonna start soon, so I plan on being there. What about you guys? Gonna sleep
Why
tonight?
not?
Okay.
Something
Fine.
might happen there. I know the DM's tricks.
Who's the
Who?
DM?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
The bartender was like, LDM, he's like a demon that's around. He stands just,
Bartender,
you
what's
never
your
heard of this? You lived
name?
here.
You run up to the bartender, ask his name.
No.
Okay.
I was shouting it out. It was bad.
Alright, well,
You shout it into the void.
I kinda take
Bartender, what is your name?
I take the wine I've got, I just kinda step outside and I kinda look for, where the festival begins.
Watch out for orphans.
I will be sure to watch out for orphans.
Who is all joining Alaric?
Advice.
All of you?
I'll join him.
Go with.
Alright,
I'll
agree.
lurk in the shadows.
Okay. You pull on your black cloak, put on some eyeliner.
And I'll go invisible. in the
Okay.
shadows.
You guys step out of the tavern. The city's pretty much the same air of leisure activity as it usually is, but you can see people flocking through the market district down towards the coast. Alright, you
I'm
head.
just gonna follow it eventually. Once we reach close by, does like music start?
Yeah, well, you can almost always hear music in the city. Someone's in their window playing, at the very least. But as you step down the steep, different inclines of building elevations, almost from the very top where the tavern was, all the way down to the docks, the music gets louder and louder. It's very quick, romantic lute and lyre music. And as you step onto the pier, you notice a floating platform in the water. Appears to be made of just very fine wood, kind of connected to the dock via chains, and it just has magical lights similar to the ones Mark makes, just hanging over them. And there's just a bunch of musicians in these fancy outfits playing. People walking around with similar masks and outfits. It's kind of like I forget the name of the thing in Italy. Vesper, what's the mask event?
City of
I have
Lights.
no fucking clue.
The thing from Cast of Monte Cristo.
The fucking Venice.
That doesn't take place in Italy.
Venice, wherever it is. Yeah, that one. I don't know where it is.
I fly above the musicians and drop a nuke. And then
Monte
you hear the
Cristo is
Spain, right? Or,
no,
or-
it's in France.
and you hear countdown.
Gree drops a nuke. Bella Villa is wiped off the map.
Thank God.
But there are people just walking about in these lavish outfits and masks, listening to the music, drinking.
Yeah, as
There's
we're-
like
as we're
carts
walking by,
rolling around with drinks and food.
Stop somebody and say, hey, we're gonna get one of these masks.
Can't really see the facial features, but it appears to be a kind of skinny human woman. She just points you over to one of the carts that has like long feathers sticking out of it and a few floating lights around it.
I thank her and I say, have a good night. I walk over and I grab one of the masks, pay for it.
As we're walking
Just a
over,
silver.
I'm gonna hit my chest and make my clothes look really fancy and nice. Pretty much like
Right.
emulating the local fashion.
Alright, Roger slaps his chest. Basically, you're wearing what Giggit wears now, but a bit fancier, more gilded aspects.
How much for a mask?
1 silver.
Just give me fucking gold.
This happens like every D&D campaign. Session like 3, I'll just pay in gold. I don't feel like transferring to silver every time.
But yeah, I buy everybody's masks.
Right.
Buy everyone a mask and hand it to them and I say, now, enjoy yourselves. best as you can. The world's ending soon, so make the most of it.
Alaric's mask is kind of like this kind of distended wolf face, but with feathers and almost like bark skin.
For a rooster mask.
Sure, make an investigation check. Rogers is kind of like a bird with a long beak and eyes that extend out into long curling feathers. Mark's is very plain and white with long strings kind of flowing downward, almost like tassels. Gree, you find a mask that is pretty much just the Hotline Miami mask with a long green and red feathers. It's a chicken mask, basically, with very long green feathers. It's like
What
has
kind
the
of
same.
bird did you say it was?
Yours, you can't really tell, but Gree was looking for rooster. It's like black, kind of fades into teal, long beak, green and red feathers kind of flowing behind you.
I'll take it, but I won't pay for it because I'm invisible.
Well, good thing he paid with the gold.
I don't care about their fucking business. They live in a rich city. They're making enough money.
They're all gonna die anyway. Right. But
Yeah,
they're
we're just gonna release a demon into the world anyways.
Yeah, I kind of push myself into the crowd, just looking for the source of music, just socializing with people, just making a couple of
I'll dance
small
around.
talk here and there.
if you're trying. If,
yourself, just in the middle of the town square, he dances.
Yeah, just if you're trying to just like socialize and interact with people, make a charisma check, flat charisma check.
All of us, or
Yeah, if you're trying to, or I guess a save would work too, but I know you're just ridiculously high. But if you're just trying to socialize with people and
I assume I
interact,
get it with advantage because I know these people or something.
natural 20.
I'll say sure. Performance works too.
Nice.
Mark is just like doing the awkward white guy dance at prom.
I want to just look. I don't care about the people. I'm gonna look for not people trying to rob me, but just like general pickpocket.
All right, make an investigation check. You're getting really good on those, even though you have nothing to it. All right. With the natural 20 earlier, I'll say you're perceptive enough to notice even some of the very obviously well-off people will occasionally just kind of dance with someone and flick their hands in their pockets and grab a gold piece or two as they move around the crowd. There appear to be a few poorer-looking people doing the same thing. Occasionally, someone will get caught and they'll just get the money snatched out of their hand and pushed away. But it doesn't look like they're needing to call the guards' attention or anything. All right.
Yeah, just kind of
Seems like
going
a
through
game.
the crowd, enjoying myself, trying to get back into the old swing of things, asking around any new news that might have happened while I was gone. I don't say while I was gone, but I say anything new going on.
Specifically about what, or just in general?
I guess specifically about vineyards. I guess would be the most logical thing to ask about.
Okay.
Any new owners?
Uh,
I assume that since everybody here is wealthy, maybe these people here might be more informed on those matters.
Yeah. As you just dance your way through the crowd, drinking, socializing, whatever you're doing, some people kind of just mention very, very boring information about their vineyards and how they're doing, how good the crops are growing this year, and the spices they're importing and all that. But occasionally you hear a few families who you grew up around and with no longer are in production. New families have taken over. You figure during the time that slavery was outlawed in Dohmalt, a lot more families rose to prominence who had hard workers that paid well instead of the people who had slave labor.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna ask around specifically about any families that I might have been, that I personally might have been very aware of, like childhood friends and such.
Yeah. You would know that at least two families from when you and your family were making wine are around, the Chassier family and the Minebreaker family. One of them dwarves, one of them elves. And you would know that the Aetus vineyard and wineries were out of production almost the entire time you were gone, but started back in the last 5-6 years under the name of a woman named Lorelei, who claims to be a descendant of the Aetus family and has been growing rapidly.
About maybe 15 or so minutes, I just kind of stop asking around and just socialize a little bit, talk to some. I can't see their faces, but I assume attractive women. They're wealthy. That's good. That's good enough.
They all look like Charles II of Spain.
I walk up and I say, "Hola."
Nice.
Put a rose in your mouth. Nice
I got a rose
Hasberg
on
jaw.
my eye. I walk over and I say, "Hola."
Roger like dances his way over to Alaric, dips him like a tango, and then just keeps dancing.
Excuse me.
Alaric's not even upset. He's back in the old way of things.
Would you all be drinking during this time? I assume.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know you are, Roger. But
Yeah.
Mark, Alaric, and Roger all make con saves.
Is mine with?
Do I
or
get
without
advantage because I
advantage?
drink a lot?
Oh,
Neither of you get advantage.
even though I'm like pretty much dead.
Poison the wine.
You haven't eaten.
that
You
one.
haven't eaten or drank anything in like 2 months. So you have not had food or liquid pass through your body in a long time. As Jake's dog comes to save him from the DM's plot. Alaric, Roger, and Mark, you all get drunk fairly quickly. The wine here is very good at its job. Gree, you drink the wine just because you're greedy, but nothing happens to you. But all of you get pretty well intoxicated as you're dancing and listening to the music. But pretty much everyone here is also intoxicated. Gree, make a perception check.
Make a plot check.
Make a plot check. Alright. You said before you were looking for pickpockets.
Didn't notice the plot.
You do notice a few people attempt to pickpocket Mark as he's dancing around.
Oh, I will absolutely let that happen.
Okay.
Do I notice them pickpocketing me?
Make a perception check. Yeah.
With disadvantage. 'cause you're
Disadvantage because you're drunk.
9.
None the wiser. People are just kind of twirling about you like a stripper pole because of how tall and lanky you are.
I'll follow them and try and steal back whatever they took off of him.
Alright. Over the course of a couple minutes, they kind of like leave and mingle back with the rest of the crowd, but eventually they exit towards a cart. It's two what appear to be kind of young-ish elven females, probably much older than the rest of you. But they stop at a cart that's serving food, and you kind of stealthily creep up behind them. Make a stealth check to steal the money back.
I'm gonna start a hand check.
Yeah, slide in.
Okay. Do I get advantage or something? Okay. I did.
There will be lights around here, so you'd be in and out of invisibility as they move.
Okay.
20.
I can
That's
fly just above the light.
20 more than enough. You managed to slip out about 60 gold from these loose pockets on their dresses. You're not sure how much they took from Mark, but you got 60 out of both of them, so 120.
60 for him specifically.
I mean, I need to know how much I lost because
You can't count your gold yet, but you'll know when you're not drunk.
So I got 120 gold.
Yep.
Some of it. Some
I'm
of
not,
it. Some from
I'm not gonna go and try to get like revenge. I just want to know so I can just subtract it.
We can do that later.
Yeah, you'll. I'll tell you how much when you're sober.
That's too much work.
But as the night goes on, you guys continue to
Hold on.
dance, drink,
You said
agree.
They stored it in the money in the food cart.
No, they have these loose pockets on their clothing that appear to be sewed in specifically to stow money, like
Sure, but-
to palm it and stow it very quickly. They're at a food cart buying food, but
Okay, so they weren't. It wasn't like a stash for.
you don't. They weren't storing their money, but you don't know if these people know each other.
Yeah, well, they didn't talk or anything. Okay.
No.
Alright,
So,
go back to the cart.
alright, you guys continue on as the night continues. It's about 1 a.m., 2 a.m. now. You guys continue drinking and partying, dancing. Alaric, are you looking for any more information?
No, I'm just looking for, I guess, just people to talk to.
Sex.
Yeah, in a.
Make
in a
her
word.
make a persuasion check. Mark and
sex
Roger, what are you guys doing?
Just dancing and socializing.
Okay.
No, I'm drunk as shit, so I'm not good at these now.
No, drunk gives you advantage on charisma checks.
Oh, I take it back. I'm drunk as shit. I'm charming.
You find a few elven women who are also drunk. Roger, are you attempting to do the same thing?
No, I'm just attempting to socialize. I meant to roll
Okay.
performance.
Okay. You're socializing pretty well. People don't even really mind that you're this tall, but you and Mark tower over everyone here. There appears to be mainly just elf, tiefling, human, a couple of dwarves, There's no one who
Just,
matches
like,
you guys in
picking
height.
up a bunch of women at once and carrying them on my shoulders.
Like just twirling about with a bunch of people. The performance on the floating little platform gets a bit more vibrant. The lights change color. They change outfits almost like instantaneously. Their music gets quicker and louder. People appear to be just having a very, very good time.
The elemental from Spider-Man, Far From Home attacks.
Oh my god, Joe, you read my notes again. Agree, make another perception check.
Oh,
I love having a party member who doesn't get drunk. Agree. You notice when Roger is picking people up and spinning them around, as he puts them down, their hands trace and find his gold pouch and take a few, and they blend back into the
Do I
crowd.
notice this?
Make a perception check. You do not.
I'm gonna follow them.
Alright. You make a perception check with disadvantage. They're blending in the crowd. They're not moving away like the others did. 12. You also blend into the crowd at this point. Since the
just gonna fly.
Okay. You just
Gonna fly
float,
over them.
arms and legs spread out, floating through the air like a blimp. As the music on the platform gets a little quieter and it becomes more of a slow dance, you notice them kind of try to exit the crowd so they don't end up dancing with anyone at this moment. And they kind of separate, and they're out of the crowd now.
Okay, I'm gonna try and. Are they in like
No, they are closer to the docks, and they
I'll
appear to
turn
be
invisible?
They appear to be two tiefling males. Their clothes are a bit darker than everyone else's, but still very flamboyant in a way.
I will turn invisible and then try and pickpocket them.
Alright, make a sleight of hand check. No stealth since you can go invisible.
I like this music.
Successfully, you snatch about 200 gold off of one of them.
Can I just like? Do they look sturdy?
Sturdier than some.
But not like if I punch them, they'll fucking die.
It's hard to tell.
I am a much higher level than these people.
It depends on if you're trying to punch them with the intent to kill them.
No. I want to sneak up behind the other one, the one I didn't steal from, and just conk him in the back of the head, non-lethally.
Alright, make an attack roll.
27. Fuck. Oh, that was almost bad.
Yep, good thing you're invisible. You just like palm on the bottom of the skull, and he kind of just falls face first into the ground. The other one kind of freaks out and like picks him up. Not really making a scene out of it.
I know. I'm just gonna punch him too.
Alright, make an
No.
attack roll.
This one does not have advantage. That's fine.
24, roll damage. You conk him in the side of the head too. He kind of stumbles for a bit, but he does not. He's not unconscious. He's
I'll stun him.
very quickly looking around.
I'll stun him. Yeah, he's stunned.
He kind of freezes in place.
Yeah, I'm gonna rifle through the other guy's pockets.
All right, make an investigation check.
Ah, shit.
You find about 38 gold, a few slips of paper, and a very, very nice necklace. He can't even see this happening.
Because
He's stunned.
No, I mean like the guy I punched.
Oh, okay.
The guy who's unconscious. His
Yeah.
pockets, I won't-
No, the other guy can't even see this because it's dark and invisible.
I turn uninvisible when I attack.
Okay, so he can see you do this, but he can't do anything about it. He's frozen there looking at you.
Before he can move again, I turn invisible, and then I just float about 10 feet, 10, 15 feet in the air, and just watch
Alright.
them for a second. See what they do.
Alright. He unfreezes, looks around very quickly. You see his clothes, the long, ornate fabrics kind of shrink into a very tight suit, almost. And he kind of picks his friend up, and he scurries over to the side of the docks and disappears around a corner.
You said his clothes changed?
His clothes went from these long, elaborate sleeves with these flowing bits to a tight suit of black material. And his mask, he drops his mask.
What's his face?
It is a kind of reddish-looking tiefling with these black horns that kind of curl back around his head, almost curl all the way around and come up in front of his face. And the other one, unconscious, but a kind of blue-skinned tiefling with the same horns.
I'm gonna try and memorize their face so I can replicate it with minor illusion.
Make an intelligence check. This is happening very quickly.
So
3.
Close. So close.
This close to perfection. Not that close. It's
all things should be.
It's dark. Your blind sight helps a bit. You think you have an okay idea of their faces, but they're kind of muddled. You wouldn't be able to create both of them at the same time. They'd probably look the same. You can memorize like a mixture of their face.
I'm gonna telepathically whisper into the red tiefling. You said he was the one who's still awake, right?
Yeah, and he's kind of scurrying around a corner, dragging his friend. Yeah.
I'll whisper into his mind. I'm always watching.
You can see him just kind of like eyes wide, looking around, and you see him pull a very long black gold dagger out of his pocket as he's kind of scurrying backwards still, and he disappears around one of the buildings.
Okay. He probably stole something important, but I'm gonna go back to the party.
Okay.
Did he just steal gold or like?
Gree got from you. You don't know yet, but you'll find out when you're sober. Gree, who do you go to?
Mark.
All right, you can easily spot Mark as he's doing the white man shuffle around these people flamenco dancing.
I'm sitting down on a bench now.
Okay,
Roger's doing the default dance.
Like I'm floating and like spinning around in a circle and floating.
break dancing in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. Alaric is just surrounded by a bunch of elven women, but you find Mark, his head kind of poking slightly above some of the people's as he's sitting on a bench. Mark appears to be a little woozy.
Mark,
Yes.
you hear a disembodied voice.
I mean,
A disembodied Gree voice.
The plot happened.
Plot?
Like the D&D plot. It came to us.
What's
The city explodes.
A thief stole from Roger
Oh, well, you should have been paying more attention.
and you.
I should have been paying more attention.
Mark, you go and check your pockets now. You appear to be missing 13 gold.
Oh,
I mean, I'm guessing.
okay.
Do you want to go track this guy down or no?
It's Roger's fault for not paying attention.
Okay.
You can talk to him about it.
I'll go find default dancing Roger.
Roger is default dancing
As
in the air.
I do like the little like stop and like lean on my side with my hand on my head.
Floating in the air.
Yeah.
I will also do that.
You guys are drawing a little bit of a crowd, but they're all drunk, so we're not sure what's happening.
You got robbed, by the way.
Shit. I'll just pat.
You pat your pockets. You are missing 120 gold.
Jesus Christ. Why didn't they steal from the rich person more?
They did.
They don't know
No,
how
they
much.
didn't.
Yeah. Mark lost 200 gold.
No. Yeah.
Well, you should have been paying
Also-
attention then.
But also, remember, Roger, you're wearing those fancy clothes. Of course they stole more gold from you.
Fair.
You look richer and are a big target. Literally.
Fair.
They're both
Fair.
big targets. Yeah. Did you want to chase the guy down? Get your money back? Or just, kill the
Fuck
thief?
it, I don't really care.
I feel
Steven,
like
Steven.
I feel like you might have some, plot relevance, but okay.
What's plot?
The city explodes.
The city explodes.
Well, we got more important things than. It's only
He,
100
like,
gold.
he changed his outfit, like your dress.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I feel like that might be important, but okay, never mind. I'll go cry.
Okay. Gree, you did retrieve off of the tiefling body 200 gold, a few slips of paper, and the necklace, which, touching it, you can tell it's a little magical.
Oh, hey, I hand the necklace to the mage. What do?
Can I cast Identify?
You, if you ever prepared, or no, it's rituals, so you can.
Yeah. Okay. Well. I
While
should not be
dancing,
drunken this way.
Mark casts
No,
Identify.
I'm just floating a little bit above a bench.
All
right
of you
now.
float now. God, I hate it.
I
It's all my
literally
fault. I know. You spend a few minutes identifying it as the music. Music distracts you a little bit. You kind of get woozy for a second, but you finish. It is a necklace of fireball
Oh.
with 1 charge. It is very, very ornate. Gold rubies with a golden inlay symbol into the ruby.
What is it?
Okay.
Necklace of fireballs.
It has 1 charge,
I assume
and
it
you
casts Fireball.
you can cast fireball through it once.
Does it only do it once, or does it recharge?
That one has 1 charge. You're not. It does not recharge. Mark would learn.
I'll just give it to Gree.
I don't want it.
Well, I wouldn't need it, so figure it
I mean, don't you cast fireball? I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
I can
I've
just
seen
cast
you
it
cast ice ball
out.
before,
And Fireball.
right?
I've done both.
Right. But if you need fire in a specific situation, you know, use this.
I mean, I guess.
I'm just saying, I'm not really the spellcaster.
Well, you don't.
Type.
I mean, okay.
Keep it. I'm gonna look at the slips of paper.
Alright.
See what plot relevance they have.
You crack them open. Make a perception check, actually.
A paper check.
A paper check for the wax seals. Alright. You got a glance at Roger's bottle earlier. It has the same golden M. Or it's not golden, it's red wax, but it has the same M and pattern around it on the wax seals.
It means mount.
Yes, it means mount.
Mount.
You crack open the letters. One appears to be a deed to land, and the other appears to be a recipe for wine.
I own land. Where's the land? What is it?
It has a little treasure map.
What's the wine recipe? That's the real question.
Make it up yourself. A lot of fancy ingredients.
For like important wine or like.
It
No.
has the same symbol as the bottle Roger bought that was
Ooh.
80 years old.
Ooh. Okay.
Does the land like specify a place?
It specifies it's a place in Bellavilla, one of the vineyards, and the winery that follows it.
I own a vineyard now.
That's not how it works, but
It's a deed. I thought that isn't that how that works?
Almost.
no. If you own a deed, that just it has to be written out in your name.
Whose name is it written?
There's not a name.
I put my name down.
Okay. The signee appears to say Dreven Montagu. You don't know him, but that's what it says.
Like at the very bottom, like the signature.
Yes, the passing the deed on. The person passing the deed says Dreven Montagu.
Out of character. Isn't that the person who fucking is dead? Supposed to be.
Yep.
I'll find Alaric.
All right. Alaric is surrounded by he's got arms around some elvish whores. You see Gree float up.
Hold on. I'm gonna look for some whores of my own.
Okay, easily you find some women.
Out whore him.
You stretch your arms to wrap your arms around more of them.
I'll pay you guys all 5 gold if you accompany me for like 2 minutes.
They don't even ask for money. They just kind of like dance around with you.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure none of them fucking steal from me first off.
And make a perception check. None of them appear to be the 2 women that you followed. In fact, you have not seen them since you pickpocketed them. But they just appear to be regular festival goers.
As you arrive, you just say, Alaric, agree! Good to see you. Good to see you. Still pissed? Still pissed. Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Ladies, this is Gree. He's a monk. But he may be a little bit green, but
Don't let that stop you.
Not be afraid. He is just jelly. Go on, Gree.
Yeah. Anyways, Mark and Roger got robbed.
Well, that's the city, so yeah, that makes sense.
I robbed the robbers, and I found this seal which I put my name on because I want it. And
yeah,
it
so
has
I just kind of grab and I look at it like, all right, Montague.
It is for the Montague family. It is their property, their vineyard, their wineries, closer to the far edge of the coast where the mountains meet. And like you heard earlier, or like you told earlier, they are dead. They have been dead before you were born.
Now the name Drevin, does that raise anything in the back of my head?
Vesper for one, but you know that that was the house patriarch owned the land, but he died last. Yeah.
Well, agree. Seems you got yourself a winery. Now that is interesting. Fantastic. They wrote it out in their name. What is?
I know. Oh.
He just acid etched it into the paper with his fingernail.
I mean, I guess it'll work. You'd have to show this to an official, but yeah, you probably own a winery now, unless the thieves run all the way back and tell what's his this Drevin guy, and he
He's
says,
dead.
wait, he's supposed to be dead. This year
Right.
looks like it may have been recent. It may be someone just forging his name for all we know, but here, take it. In any case, I'm proud of you. You did good. You beat up the thieves.
I didn't punch him. I just pickpocketed them. It wasn't really difficult. Yeah.
Okay. You seem like the punchy type. Like you punch first, ask questions.
I would never. That offends me as a gentleman and a scholar.
He is still wearing a gentleman's outfit.
Yeah, as he says, as Alaric is gonna look at his mouth a little open, not out of surprise, but just kind of like, all right. Well,
Big top hat, mask over it. Rooster mask for one.
Chicken mask.
I guess just go enjoy the rest of your night. I've got company.
I do too.
I
walk away.
Hang on.
They all look the same.
Before he walks away, I look at all the people surrounding him and I say, I'll pay you all 50 gold a pop if you follow me.
Make a persuasion check. All 6 of them leave green. Start dancing in circles.
I leave.
You float off.
As Joe leaves, you can turn his head and he sees Alaric walking back towards the inn, and the last thing Gree hears is like, before he walks out of earshot, is, "I ever tell you guys how I wrestled a shark?"
They are all in awe at this story.
Even though they've
Could
all
help with
heard
that.
it before.
I can make illusion spells. Oh, okay. He's gonna cuck me again.
Alright, so what are the rest of you doing with your night?
Go back
Well,
to the inn.
when I notice everyone else is like in the party is left, I'll probably just head back to the inn.
Alright. All of you make it back with that issue. The festival's still going on as you walk back up to the inn. It gets quieter in the city as you move away from it, and you make it back to the Ghastly Harp with a little issue. Besides Roger and tripping, even though he's floating.
I trip and I like do the space.
It's like spin a couple times. All the way back into the inn through the door.
I've just been doing the fucking International Space Station flip like the entire time there.
What?
Like, you know how
The flip
like,
they do
flip
between
through
rooms.
Yeah.
They do a little flip every time they go through certain
yeah.
rooms.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But you guys make it back into the Ghostly Harp. It's cleared out a little bit. The iron doors are still there. Some of the patrons are still there. But you can head up to your rooms if you'd like.
Yeah.
Alright.
Make sure my door is locked. You know how it is.
Alright, you got 2 rooms.
How
So
much did he pay for a room?
you paid a gold for 2 rooms.
Yeah, Alaric's gonna
Okay.
get his own room, one of the larger rooms.
Okay, so you buy a room. So that a large room that'd be gold.
Yeah.
I'll pay for my own room.
Regular room that's just 5 silver.
I'm paying.
That was 4.
I messed up earlier.
Well,
Alright, you all settle yourselves into your room. Mark.
Put a bear trap down by the door.
Okay. You put a bear trap down. You crank it. It is set. Mark, you pull the covers up, floating just above the bed, as your eyes don't close the entire night. But Roger, you make your way to sleep. Alaric, you do the same.
Oh, it takes me a while to
Yeah.
get there, but I
Fade
get
to
there.
fade to black again.
The curtain's closed on your dick.
But
Oh,
Alaric.
Yeah.
Eventually, when you do fall asleep, after kicking some of them out, I assume, but keeping some of them,
No, they're all with me. Every
okay.
single one of them.
You got the triple king bed. As sleep takes you, as the music cues, you aren't used to remembering your dreams. You're sure you just don't most of the time, unless it's just something terrible. But as you fade into unconsciousness, you can hear a very metallic, not stringy, I don't know the word, metallic twang to it, voice, just kind of coming from an abyss around you. Just full darkness, but you can hear this metallic voice.
Coming.
It's coming on him. You hear it kind of whisper to you with this grating sound. Touched. And the abyss around you kind of shrinks slightly, and you can see as you move about, put your hands in front of yourself, there's like a silverish hue, almost like you're under the effect of fairy fire or a bright light. And you can lift your arm where the mark of Mercury once was, and you see an eye of bright yellow light kind of open in the center, and your arm kind of fade into this long string of metallic liquid as it fills the entire space around you, almost up to your nose. It's warm and almost comforting, and it just sits like that for a moment before disappearing. And you look down at what bits of metal you're wearing and carrying, and it's just been replaced with gold, gilded and fancier than... It's ornate fancy that no one would actually wear, but it's all been transmutated into gold. And you lift your hand up once more. Change. Gift. Gained long ago.
What do you mean?
Alliance formed. Protect and thrive.
I assume you're talking about yourself then. The both of us? Me protect you?
Mutual protection.
What do you protect me from?
Danger. Enemies.
What do you want me to
Mortals.
protect you from?
Immortals. Tagrinaz.
Fiends?
And it kind of fades back into your arm. And you awake, surrounded by elven women.
That was a hell of a night. What did I do?
All of your money is gone. You are now poor. New character.
I just kind of look down. I look all across the. Yeah, that makes sense. Are they all still sleeping?
Yes.
Just
It is.
like-
It is about 10, 11. You guys,
Yeah,
all of you but Gree have slept in, and Mark, because Mark doesn't
Tentatively,
sleep.
Will pull myself out of the bed, trying not to wake any of them up, exit the room, take a deep breath, and say, "Ooh."
You step into a bear
You
trap.
step into a bear trap.
I step into a bear trap. I say, "Ooh, ow."
Ooh, ouchie, my leg bone.
I step out to the hallway, and I kind of sit there in front of the door for a couple of seconds. Open it back up, look at it, close it, open it, look at it, close it again. Say, "Ooh."
Nice.
You see Mark floating in the hallway. The bags under his eyes go all the way down to his mouth now.
Hey, did you not sleep at all, Mark?
What? No, what's sleep?
Hey, look, Mark. I know you've got a mark and everything like me, but you know you don't have to stay awake, right?
I don't get any rest when I sleep anyways.
Well, you don't get any rest, but it's for the soul.
My eyes are just closed. I just
Yeah,
sit there with my eyes shut.
You know
for
what?
8 hours.
Would you
I
keep
will,
it down and I'll throw a knife at the door?
A little bit of a knife pokes out. Actually, yeah, Alaric, Mark, and Roger need to make con saves.
Yeah. I figured.
Roger, you're not hungover. Alaric, you're not hungover. Mark, you're...
Oh, that's charisma.
Yeah, that's charisma.
That's a save. Con save.
Con save.
Yeah, give me a moment.
You're not hungover either. But Mark, you are still...
I?
Absolutely, you're sloshed. Mark, you're not hungover, however, there's kind of like this gross feeling in your stomach because wine is the only thing that's been in it for 2 months.
Yeah.
Agree, you are not hungover as you float above the bear trap.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Mark. I will figure something out for you. You need to sleep. You need to sleep. I'll
It's
take
a
it
spell
for
you can cast. Where he says
There is
it
a
comes
spell you
out of
can
his
cast,
mouth.
yeah. But, well, I'll find something for you. Yeah, but we should get going. We gotta go to the... God, it's like, what, 10? We should get going to the vineyard.
Where can I go to find? Hold on. Where can I go to find my vineyard?
Your vineyard? Well, from the looks of it, it's quite a ways away.
No, it's
Oh,
in
God, you
Bellavilla.
people never stop talking, and I'm just gonna come out and
Roger's
my
in
clothes
it.
have gone back to normal.
Roger, your dick's hanging out.
Roger puts the daggers away.
Like, it looks like I'm wearing a bathrobe that's like half open at the bottom.
the
Like I said, dick is hanging out.
the Montagu winery and vineyard is in the city, a little bit out on the outskirts, similar to yours, but it's closer to the coast. Yours is closer to the mountain.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a ways away. We can go there if you'd like and see what's
I
going
mean,
on.
I
Like-
figured I needed to confirm it with like a government person.
Yeah, you should be able to talk to the governor here.
You would talk to the lawmaster, but
Yeah, the
You own a
building's
vineyard
usually in the
now?
center.
I do.
He
No. Let me.
He made the
explain.
wise financial decision after we had a little
Yeah.
discussion over it, and he was right. He purchased
No.
the vineyard.
There was this giant gambling party going on, and I won. I swept up all the profits.
He's
Including
I'm
a
not,
thing
I'm
alone.
not inside check.
you get a deception check, Gree. Move advantage.
Where's the deception?
Barely. Good job.
Gree might be lying about winning, but he might have been gambling.
You don't know. You don't know.
But he owns a
Gree,
vineyard now.
Gree's kind of hard to read.
but-
Gree has a hard time reading.
I'm gonna start heading towards my family's vineyard. It's kind of a walk, but I don't know.
What I
Wanna
know,
go see
he
what's
has the
going on.
wine recipe as well.
Oh, yeah, you know about the wine run.
You showed that to Mark. I don't think you showed it to Alaric though.
I did.
Okay.
We're gonna make it later.
Which
Okay.
vineyard did you own?
A vineyard, the one from the dead people.
In fact, it's
Oh,
the
It's
vineyard.
the Montague vineyard, which is
Oh.
odd. That's why I think this is kind of a forgery. But
Well,
It's not gonna be a forgery when I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying?
As he forges more onto it.
As he writes with crayon all over it.
well, normally I'm not all about the law, but I'll be honest with you, Gree. If you can do it convincingly, I'm not gonna stop you. Just don't be bad at it.
I am very convincing.
I just kind of look at it with like
A bubble
it's kinda
appears
like
in
an
his
open
cheek.
mouth, but like, you know what I mean? Like open mouth,
Yeah.
but you can see the doubt in my eyes. Like, all right, but I'm gonna get walking. You guys can walk with me if you want, or you can go to
No,
Gree's
I'll
new
follow.
We're
Gree's
going
new
with you.
groove.
Do both.
Yeah. Yeah. As we're walking out, I wave at the iron doors.
Oh, they're not
or
there.
if there's anyone out
The
there.
iron horse.
The iron whores are not there, and the iron doors are not there.
Yeah.
In the tavern,
So
at least.
I'll walk. Before I walk out, I get a bottle of my family wine, pay another 2 gold, and just walk back out there.
All right. You
Sing it
guys,
as I go along.
you guys exit. The wine is very fragrant and tastes of wine. Vesper, what does wine taste like? I'm not an alcoholic.
I don't know. don't drink wine either.
mine is kind of shitty. to be honest.
Very fruity.
It just tastes- some of it can be dry. I think that's a quality wine you can have.
This is the wettest
So
wine you ever had.
my, Hawaiian fruit punch.
Yeah, it's got the little mascot on it and everything.
Am I the only person here who has drank wine other than Jake?
No, I have.
I mean,
It's
like,
it's
I've-
okay. It depends
No,
on
I
the day.
have.
One-
I just said it was shit.
Sometimes. I just don't drink it. I've had like sips.
Vesper is 21 years old, by the way.
Yeah. Actually, it's legal in Texas if you have a parent or guardian in the house who allows you to do it. So
That's for the last times you
I'm
were
all good.
drinking, there was no parent or guardian.
He means he was drinking Dasani water, sponsored by Dasani water.
Dasani water, sponsored by
Fermented
Dasani
Dasani water.
water.
But you guys exit out into the city streets.
Once I'm out the door, I put on the horseman's helmet and just kind of spawn my horse.
It
Oh,
pops in. It says horses joined the game in the bottom right.
Yeah, hop on top.
bottom left, right, bottom left.
Bottom left, yeah.
I just kind of go on a slow walk, sipping from the wine every now and again.
A
to wave at
trot.
Some of the people.
All right, make a performance check.
I'm floating along in my bathrobe.
Arms crossed, legs down.
Impressive, but we'll see how
Dick
it goes.
swinging.
Everything is political.
Alaric, you and the party draw quite a few eyes, especially since a lot of people around here don't use horses in the city, at the very least.
Especially since 3 of us are flying.
Yeah, and 3 of you are. There's just people flying behind him, T-posing.
Excuse you, I'm hovering
Hovering.
Yeah, I'm like a few inches up.
Gree is swimming through the air.
at the 35-foot hover speed.
Mark and Roger float. Gree has a swirling mass of black clouds lifting him into the air. As you guys make your way through the city, you draw quite a few eyes. A lot of kind of curious glances, almost like they're trying to discern how wealthy you are and how important to the city you are. You can tell a lot of people here are kind of prissy.
I'm definitely
That's
humming
usual. Yeah, by the way, the city might be rich, the people might be great, but they're also kind of dicks. So, try and look rich and they won't bother you.
Oh, right, and I changed back into my normal clothes.
Changes back into Giggit.
I'll
No,
try
my
and buy you
normal,
guys,
my normal clothes.
Okay.
I'll try and buy you guys some fancy clothes later, but the richer you look, the less likely people are to stare at you.
I'm pretty sure all of you own fancy clothes at this point.
I'm used to just people staring at me. I'm fine.
But yeah, we just continue on to my winery.
All right, you make your way up the steep stone like elevations in the city until you reach a flat level area that extends outward for quite a while, and you see large, very large, fancy abodes, 2 or 3 stories in height, just kind of scattered about, surrounded by long fields of vineyards that roll down the hills and across and up the little bit of mountain that's left. Not a lot of trees, but where they are, they're usually crowded around the house.
And how's the house look?
Uh,
Last time I saw it, it was burning down.
Yeah.
So
All of the houses that you've passed by are in very good condition. Most of them look pretty similar. It appears the wealthy kind of just adhere to a style. But you do make your way towards the back end of the houses. The plant life kind of springs up a bit more. There's almost like a grove leading up to this bit shorter 2-story yellow brick house. Extends outward, almost like a manor in the front, and extends back and up into almost a sphere shape with long, tall brick roofs and multiple chimneys. And you see people out in the groves and the vineyards working as you walk up.
I'd assume they have like Spanish tile roofing or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
it's
red
Spanish.
that red almost brick.
Yeah, it's
But,
Spanish tiles.
Yeah.
As we're running along, I just kind of look over some of the people, see if I can recognize any of their faces. Clearly not, because all the people I remember were slaves. So
You don't really recognize any of the faces. A lot of them appear to be tiefling, human, elves, like most of the city. A bit of dwarves every now and then. You remember living here, there were very, very, very few dwarves. But there appear to be a few more now.
They are now in the
things
city.
things have changed quite a bit from when I was a kid. But if you look over this place, it seems to be pretty much in
If you look to your left,
If you look to your left, you'll see where I beat my first slave.
there
Where I beat my first wife.
there appears
Yeah, so I
my
just kind of
first
right up to the
dick.
front of the house.
there appears to be a portion of the house that is being like added onto. There's scaffolding and a few people building and working. Mostly dwarves doing the building at the least. And
Some frogs, really?
yes, and
Are they construction worker dwarfs?
Yes.
Do they whistle at the
Shut
wind?
up.
yes, they are on little beams eating sandwiches. Wearing
At this
pointy
point,
hats.
I'd be like walking on the ground like a normal person.
Okay. The grove that leads up to the house, the trees kind of bend and curl over the top, giving a lot of shade, and it is very warm here. Not as humid, or far humider than Genesee, but a little less hot, so it's about the same feeling. And you approach the front of the house. Large, dark oak doors, gilded in silver, with a very stylized A printed on both sides, and a wolf kind of motif surrounding them, like a wolf's open jaws. And heavy knockers on both, and there appears to be a very skinny, dark-skinned elf with very long, tied-back, curly, blonde hair, kind of walking up gingerly, almost frail-looking, but still professional, as the music picks up. And they kind of walk towards you. Yes, is there something you require,
Here to
sirs?
talk to Loralee, whatever her name is.
Lorelei, she is in her office. Do you have an appointment with her?
I don't have an appointment necessarily, but I believe she and I may have some relation. Say I'm a long-lost cousin of hers.
I will fetch her. Please stay here.
Right.
And your name is what, sir?
Alaric.
Alaric. Right. You kind of quizzical look for a moment, but then heads inside. You wait for about
I got
10.
thaumaturgy, so the doors slam open.
Okay. As he reaches to pull the door handle,
I
they kind of.
don't have thaumaturgy.
Oh yeah. I don't know why. Did
I was very
Do?
convincing. I know.
did Do have thaumaturgy?
No. I've never had thaumaturgy.
Damn. As he reaches to open the door, he walks in. They slam a little harder because you think about it hard enough. You wait for about 5 or 6 minutes. During this time, as you're
As
waiting,
we're waiting, I'm gonna turn to the group and say, "Now, there's a couple of ways this can go. Number one, this turns out to be some family, in which case it's gonna be a celebration for all. Number two, turns out to be someone claiming to be my family, in which case I'm not gonna kill them, but I'm gonna be very upset.
Aw.
I need you guys to make sure I don't burn this place down in the process.
Do you want us to
We
hold you
can't
back?
kill them?
I'm not gonna kill children.
Okay, not children. Like, what about the bitch who's claiming to be like your cousin or something? I don't know.
I'll just have to yell at them and put Birthright in front of it or something. I don't know. But again, if I'm about to burn this place down, please stop me.
Okay.
Deal.
Hey, Alaric, stop.
Thank you. Thank you.
during this about 5-minute wait, the dwarves that are building have added on quite a lot. They're about a quarter of the way done already. They're very quick workers. But the doors open again.
Beautiful culture.
Exotic.
I'll cast minor illusion and just make like a fart noise up at the door.
Like wind chime.
Yeah.
Alright, the noise plays as the doors open. Very loud creaking, kind of muffles it a bit. The dark-skinned elf steps out again. Come in with me. As he gestures in for you.
I raise an eyebrow and I say,
You can leave your horse.
"Alright." I get off the horse, take off the helmet, and the horse is just sucked into the helmet. And I strap the horse onto my. I strap the helmet onto my belt and proceed forward, a little cautiously, but I proceed forward.
Alaric grows 100 feet tall and has a horse strapped to his side.
It becomes a Garyon. He gestures as all of you enter. Right this way. And as the last person enters, who I guess is Mark, I'd assume. Doesn't really matter.
That's me.
Doesn't really matter. Shuts the door behind you, Gree. You hear a bit of a turn and a large lock being placed, and follows behind you.
Who placed the lock?
The elf locked the door and then followed behind you.
I don't like that.
The
Can I
ins
insight check the lock?
Sure, make an insight check on the lock.
I mean, like, why?
On him. You would assume the person who lives here doesn't like just a bunch of people wandering in, maybe?
Okay.
They
Okay, she's keeping out the pores. I got it.
follow behind you. The interior of this house is very lavish. Paintings and sculptures and just very fancy knickknacks, basically. Just in cases in the main hall and thoroughfare. Get let out into this large, expansive, open room. Large fireplace, no fire. Very nice furniture. Bearskin rugs. Some mounted animals. Alaric, this room is pretty similar to the main living quarters, or main guest quarters of your house. Same animals, almost the same places. Furniture's a bit nicer, a bit more modern. Fireplace
so I'm
isn't
like
going.
walking in and taking this whole thing in and just saying like out loud, well, it's good to see some things haven't changed. Hey, who rebuilt this place?
Hold on one second. Texting my family. They can't knock on my door, but they can text me.
The servant says that in character.
Yeah.
He's on his phone. I call him rude.
Hang up and hang out.
Hang up and hang out.
As I fall asleep.
He falls asleep on the couch.
Joe actually falls asleep in real life.
I refuse to fall asleep.
You asked the elf who rebuilt the place.
Yeah.
I worked here previously, but we received a large sum of money not too long ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Unknown benefactor, we were able to rebuild.
Good to know. How long you been working here?
I worked here when the original family owners lived here.
What was your name?
My name is NPC Generator.
Yeah, I've met many of you.
My name is Borin.
Warren, that's a good name.
Like the
Used to be a slave?
I was not a slave. I wasn't paid very much, but I was not a slave.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that.
I am paid quite handsomely now. I think the change in management has brought change for the better to the family.
Better.
I
I've
shoot
heard
look
this,
towards Alaric the moment he says that. Just in case.
Big ass smile on your face.
No, like just in case. Like my hand's kind of ready to hold him back.
Well, I've heard that this Lorelei is an Aetius.
Yes, she is.
Is she?
She was one of the children.
The daughter?
Yes.
Well, she was quite young when everybody died. Barely walking.
Yes, this is true. But she has returned to her family's lineage.
How'd she get out?
I am unsure. She has not told me. Alaric, make an insight check.
Yeah, I don't know. I already am not am not trusting this man. He's lying to me.
The entire time you're talking to him, he's kind of glancing at you. Does not turn to face the other party members when he's speaking. Before, when he walked up,
He's taking me in.
he's taking you in. But before, when he walked up, he was very looked to the ground and looked to the side. But when he makes eye contact with you, he has not broken it. She will be down in just a moment. Would you care for something to drink or something to eat?
No, I think I'll be okay.
What of your friends?
I'm fine, thank you.
I would love something to drink, actually.
Wine, water.
Just some ice,
Wine.
please.
I brought my own wine with me.
I will see if I
Actually,
can
your
find some
vintage.
ice.
You can see I'm a big fan of it.
I can. It is
Milk.
quite popular recently.
Oh, it's not as good as it used to be. I remember having a better, purer taste when I was a kid.
I am of a different sort. I believe it tasted worse before. I thought it tasted of.
all the
I
slave
shoot,
labor.
walk towards
You know,
I
Alaric.
thought
we
it
can
tasted
find
of,
ways to agree and disagree.
I thought it tasted of forcefulness.
Well, I would agree there, but best results, right? I smile at him.
Very, very crooked smile kind of forms for a moment, and you hear the clack of footsteps coming downstairs in another room. I believe the message is here. You asked for wine, correct?
They did.
I'll be right out.
I
Walks
asked for
away.
ice.
I will see if I can find some ice.
We don't
As
have
he
refrigerators on this.
walks out. They got ice carts like in
I
China.
turned my attention to the person who walked in.
A female figure steps through the thoroughfare as the elf passes by her. They both nod at each other. Long, dirty blonde hair and braids that go down to the back. Very, very, very nice, like white dress, lace, lots of jewelry. Very attractive face, bit of a scar running down the corner of her lip, down to her chin.
Do they look alike?
Very, very similar eyes to Alaric. Same kind of nose structure. Alaric's has been broken a bit more. And she steps up. She's about as tall as Alaric. I believe I've been summoned. I have company.
Yes.
It's good to meet you as well.
Morally, right?
That is what I'm going by now.
What do you mean by now?
I had to
Different
change my
name?
name once. Do you even
What was your
remember?
original name?
You don't even remember, do you?
You were a child.
As were you.
A child.
A bit of a smile.
Little
Blex comes through the window.
I was a bit older. I was
You were raised by father.
Yep.
I've heard many stories about him and you.
Well,
Mother, not so much.
where is she?
I do not know. I haven't seen her. I did not leave with her. She left on her own. I was saved in the fire.
What
Boren
happened?
helped me.
Boring.
Took me into the city. Helped me grow. And eventually I earned money, bought this place, rebuilt it, and are going to change our family's name. That was the plan.
It's a good plan. I've been working on a similar thing myself, although going about it by different means.
I've heard of your
You took after
exploits.
Mother a lot.
I try. Father wasn't a very good role model.
I would agree to that.
But it seems you and your band of mercenaries or adventurers or whatever you like to call them have been quite successful. I've heard many, many things about the exploits in Genesee. I heard you wrestled a shark.
Yeah, I'm glad you heard about that one. I'm proud of that one. Yeah, as she says that, Alaric kind of smiles and laughs to himself, and then
A bit of a smile on her
But-
face as well.
It's been a long time.
I don't even know if you're the real one.
I assure you I
I don't know if
am.
you're a liar.
I'm not. You can make an insight check if you like.
Yeah. I got advantage on this.
Nah. It
I'll,
didn't-
I'll add the. I'm gonna roll a 1d6 because I can do that now. All right, 16.
16? Doesn't appear to be lying. She has the same eyes. Kind of similar facial structure, but yours is hidden under a beard, so most people wouldn't be able to tell, but you know your own face. To some extent, at least. She is almost the spitting image of your mother, but with a bit more of a scowl that she tries to hide with a slightly upturned expression.
All right.
Hold on, Alaric, if you wouldn't mind. I'm gonna shake her hand.
Okay. You shake her hand. She's
I
very
cast a spell magic on her.
okay. You cast a spell magic.
Nothing
Nothing. Nothing happens.
I cough, embarrassed, and step back.
I just
Okay.
I look back at her
It was a
and I
nice
look
try.
over.
She's far tanner than Alaric.
Yeah,
for
I look
one.
over Laurely, and I say, finally, after about a minute or two. So, what is your real name then? Remind me.
Does it even matter to you?
It does. Mother named you. That matters.
She did. Catherine.
as someone knocks on the
Boren walks in with the wine and ice.
Oh, thank
Well-
you.
My pleasure.
Is there any way we can sit down and have a private talk? I don't mean to cut you guys out of it, but
No, it's yours. But I do have one question. Do you
What
have
is?
a bottle of the original stuff?
There are 3 bottles in the basement.
Can I have one? Not for personal use. I want it. For
Make a persuasion
it has
check
saved my life.
with advantage.
24.
Boren, fetch one of the original bottles.
Thank you.
And Boren nods. And if you'd like to speak alone, you can follow me.
Yeah. follow close after. And again, I just say, again, just let me have this.
No,
I'll be back.
take your time. It's all you.
Boren entertains you guys. You walk.
Does he give me my booze?
He does eventually. Very nice bottle, dusty, of course. About 50 or so years old. She leads you through the main thoroughfare, past or through a very long corridor. Some of the house is different, but you enter what you know to be your father's study, and it is almost exactly the same. Same bookshelf, same desk, different painting. It's no longer a painting of him. It is a painting of your sister and Boren.
So, this Boren guy, how long you known him?
Well, since I was a child, I assume you did too, but hard to remember some faces.
It's hard to remember.
He raised me for a
don't-
while.
I don't really remember anything from that night, to be entirely honest with you. I remember fire, I remember being on a horse, and I remember running, and that's it.
Though I was young, I remember quite a lot. As you can see with the decor, at least. Boren helped, of course.
I don't think I could ever get as close as you have, that's for sure.
I wanted to
I-
at least remember father somewhat.
He wasn't a good man, I admit.
I did not know him too personally, but what I've heard, he was a terrible man.
He had good qualities.
Gave good advice to his rich friends, I've heard.
He gave good advice to all of us, I think. He taught me how to, I guess, grow the way I have. More talking, less fighting. Sometimes,
Kind of narrows her eyes a bit.
I like to think that, you know, I learned a couple of things. Business. But I guess that's all in the past now. He's gone. He was a smart man, but he wasn't a nice man.
I think that can be said for quite a few people here. In the families that currently run most of the vineyards are very similar to father. Go away.
Well, I'm not a nice man either. Probably heard about that plenty of times.
I've heard quite a few things.
Not all of them good, huh?
No, but some of them very good. I'm a little shocked how many of them are at least uplifting. I know your band has helped quite a few homeless people.
Well,
I know the big one especially made it rain fish, apparently.
yeah, that was weird. We got a stick off of an island, and I know magic is weird, but I didn't think it was that weird. I don't know why I had that assumption, but ever since everything kind of burned down, I'm a firm believer in second chances, I guess. Everyone deserves a second chance. I think even father.
I think you got that from mother.
Yeah. Is all this real? I
What do you
don't-
mean?
I don't. Any of this is happening.
Yes,
Is this some magic bullshit again?
your friend tried to cast a spell magic, it did not work.
You know, sometimes I used to dream of this place. Kind of funny when you think about it, all the horrible shit that happened, but
I dreamt of it
you
too,
kind of think back on it in
but
a positive way, and walking through here is like walking through a dream. I don't know if I like it, I don't know if I'm scared or not, but the fact that you lived surprises me. I went all these years thinking you, father, and mother were dead. If I had any idea that you were even alive, I would have tracked you down. I promise.
I think it's better that we were separated. We are different. Similar in some ways, but different. We both like to talk, but I think that's where most of our similarities lie.
Well, it's good to finally see you. Is there anything you need? Anything I can do for you?
Not that I can think of. I'm purchasing more land, if you would refrain from doing so.
I didn't have any intention to.
I bought the Montagu's place not too long ago.
Did you?
Yes. I'm waiting on the deed.
As soon as he says about the Montague place, Alaric just kind of sits there and he's kind of like starts to laugh and he says, "You wouldn't happen to have people in the crowd last night, would you?"
I'm waiting on the deed. I assume they went to the festival.
You know, it's good to see that even so many years after, I'm one step ahead.
I do not know what you mean,
The
but
green one. He's got the deed.
see that kind of the almost like mildly happy expression kind of turn a bit. How does he have my deed?
You see, I bought it.
No, you're not there, right?
You're not there.
Oh.
Yeah. He ran into some pickpockets, and they stole from the larger of the three. And he, I guess, from what he told me, pickpocketed them back and walked out with a deed.
Pickpockets at the festivals. That does not surprise me.
No, it's kind of how things have been for years. Although the fact that it was your own people.
It's getting a bit worse. You heard of the bandits, correct?
Yeah, I've heard about the bandits.
They're organizing, I'd say. Black
It
Link.
is a threat.
They are pickpocketing people during festivals, but that's been happening. But they do it more high profile.
So is it possible these guys stole the deed?
Very possible. I assume that's what happened, unless your friend lied to you and pickpocketed him himself. He did seem to have nimble fingers, despite being so rotund.
I'm not gonna rule out.
He had very
stole or
dainty
not.
fingers.
He has very dainty fingers, but I'll get him to give it back to you. It's yours by rights.
That would be
Let's see
appreciated.
what I can do. But
It's not the
the
largest,
bandits,
but... What about them?
you take after Mother a lot. What have you tried to do with the bandits?
I have hired more people to guard this place and to guard our trade routes. It has worked fairly well.
See, yeah, just like Mother, you're reactive. And you got to be active about this kind of stuff. You can take it from me.
I've hired quite a few of the Iron Door to find the problem. They've been somewhat successful.
I'm going to find them. I'm going to find the bandits, and I'll do what I can. I'll find their leader. And when I come back, I don't know. Maybe you've got something of father's, something that I used to have, any kind of memento.
I have a few things. Boren helped gather some.
As for all the slaves, whatever came of them, whatever happened.
They fled into the valley. I assume most of them died. Boren escaped. A few others of his family escaped, and they live in the city. Merchants. But that's all the ones I know. I didn't know many of them. I was quite young.
Yeah.
I only knew Boren because he was Mother's personal favorite, I'd say.
Well,
Tipped him every now and then.
Oh, personal favorite.
well, things have changed. And you're the better one of the two of us, I think. I think that,
I think you're better in certain ways, and I'm better in others.
no. Let's not lie to each other now. You've done better things than I could ever have done. You built this place back up. You got people working for you.
It took
you did
time.
Something,
It took quite a lot of time.
I think.
From
You
what
have-
I've heard of
have-
you, you've done your business quite quickly.
I have, but
You're a fast
you have any
worker.
idea what I've done since before all this?
I've only recently heard of you. I assume you were a soldier for a while.
Used to be. Used to be a soldier.
I can tell
know
by
how
the
people like to-
scars. Probably quite a
You
few.
know how much blood is on my hands? You have
I've
any
had-
idea how many people I've left without families? How many mothers and children I've burned in houses? No. You are going to carry the family name much better than I have. And if something should happen to me, if, I don't know, let's say in the next couple of months, I end up dead, I want you to take control of everything I've ever done. I'm going to take control of the Merc Band, the Merry Men, the Merry Misfits, whatever I've decided to call them. I've purchased the doors, all of them. I've got connections to everyone, even the magnate of the cities back in Jadal. I want you to have all that.
It's quite an extensive
When it
reach.
comes down to it, when it comes down to it, between the two of us, I'm not as destined for greatness as you are. But
I'm unsure of
destined to
that.
kill things, and that's what I'm gonna do.
You see, the bit of a smile she got back after the whole Grease stole my deed thing. Kind of somber a bit. I think you'll live for quite a while.
We'll see how things go. Huh? I stand up, and I'm like about to make my way to leave when I turn back around and I say, "You are a lot like Mother. You look like her.
Kind
Talk
of
like her."
smirk a bit. You aren't so much like father than I thought you'd be.
Well, everybody lies. I laugh and then I walk over, I hug my sister tight, and I walk back out. And when I see Borin, I kind of just tell him thank you for everything that he's done. I look back at the group and I say, "Fellas, we got a job to do. Let's get going."
Huh?
Gree is sipping wine expertly, swishing it around his mouth.
Chewing
There
ice.
is a group of bandits building up, and they're just bandits. I'm gonna go around, try to take care of them. But before we do, agree that deed you've got. That's it's my sister's.
Oh, how much is he paying me for it?
3.
Yeah,
Give it to Borin.
I wanted it.
She
you're telling me-
legally owns it.
I don't
It
care.
has her name on it.
It has my name
It
on
didn't
it.
have a name
I
on
used
it.
Fran.
How much
How
you
much
want for it, Agree?
you want it for?
How much do you want for it?
I want your arm. I want you to get rid of the mark. That's what I'll give it for.
You would have noticed by now the mark's gone.
I haven't been paying attention to him.
Well,
He would probably hold his hand up now, and the mark is
yeah,
missing.
I just kind of I just show you my arm and I say I got rid of it. Agree.
Okay. How much are you willing to pay?
How much do you want?
that was the payment page. What?
Yeah, that's what you said
Hello?
you would pay. Give him the
Say
deed.
1,000 gold.
Fine. Just gonna hand Agree the 1,000 gold. I give the deed to Borin and I say you can erase that name somehow. I'm sure.
He kind of opens it and looks at it. He didn't appear to write over a name, is the curious thing. I'll give it to the madam.
Yeah, I think he used Cran or something.
No, there was no name under his. It was blank.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was my fucking deed.
I'll have to look into this.
Well, let's get going. We're gonna find the bandits. We're gonna take care of them. Maybe I'll hire them. Maybe I'll kill them. I don't know what I'll do, but I owe my sister this much. Let's get going.
Alright. You guys
You owe me a vineyard.
exit the building. As you're leaving, Borin kind of hastily walks back and taps you on the shoulder. Alaric, your sister, she wanted you to have this, and he hands you this wrought iron key, which has your family's emblem imprinted into the tail end of it. I'm unsure of what it unlocks. I am sure it's in the house somewhere.
Yeah, it might be in the basement. I'll check it out.
He nods and walks away.
Alright, well, I guess we'll just head into the basement and see what's in there, but, it is my sister. I can assure you all that much.
Oh, that's good.
I didn't tell any of this, but I figure it's relevant now. This vineyard used to own slaves. And, I was a dumb teenager. I wasn't, I was crueler than I am now. With all these years.
That's a
Oh
shocker.
wow!
Well,
You must have just murdered people. Like,
not quite, but just as bad. I'm not proud of anything I did, but I wanted to let you all know that I used to be a lot worse, if you can believe it.
can you
We'll see.
believe it?
Oh, do you know of any magic shops I can stop by right quick?
Yeah, you should.
I have something to sell.
You should find a couple of those in the market. We'll tail our way back. Can you show us on the maps where the bandits are exactly?
They mention near Odavalo and Harana. So between the city, Odavalo is the name is covering the city, but there is a small town underneath it.
Okay. Yeah.
In between
so
here.
We'll have to head that. So I guess the direction's gonna more or less look like this, right? So
We could just take the thing there. You've
No.
probably been there at some point.
back and then.
You're taking the car. It's literally just
Yeah, it's
a
like
hop
an
and
hour.
a hop and a skip.
Yeah, we're gonna take the card. I just wanted to know exactly where. But yeah, we'll head back to the villa. You can grab some magic items or sell off whatever you need to sell off. But the faster this is done, the better, I reckon.
It would take 2 hours to get there.
Yeah. So I head into the basement. I try and find what. She
While
might be
he's doing
looking
that,
for.
I'll go to the market.
All right,
Don't meet up
you guys exit out. Alaric heading around towards where he knows the cellar to be. As you exit, most of what the dwarves were building is done. It's about halfway done already. They're very quick workers. But you find the cellar.
My sister.
I know. You open the doors and head down. This appears to be completely untouched by the fire. Some of the shelves have been replaced, but that's about it. Kind of cold in here compared to up top, but you see shelves of wine, a few crates, some cloth, a few barrels, but you don't notice any boxes or any locks.
Looking at the iron key, I'd assume that maybe my father had a hiding spot down here.
Make a history check with advantage.
13. Like, yeah, is that good enough, or is I can roll to 1d6?
How often can you do that?
I can only do it twice per long rest.
Okay, yeah, you roll it again.
Yeah. It's twice per long rest, and yeah, natural.
14. You walk about for a little while, moving things over, and then it clicks. The smallest wine shelf. There has never been a bottle of wine in the center. And you kind of peer in, and there's a dust-webbed keyhole.
I insert the iron key.
You twist it, turn, thing slides open, and inside you see a few chests about the size of your lower leg, filled to the brim with gold. A few pieces of historical armor and weaponry on stands, and then a large painting of your entire family at the very far back.
Is this a JoJo reference?
And a stone mask that screams vampire at you.
Yeah, how much gold total then?
About 7,000.
Alright. Yeah, I just kind of...
Music picks up as you open the crate. Gold light fills your face.
As for the historical pieces of armor, is it anything special?
It's your father. You didn't know him very well, but you knew him. He was very big onto the history of Dohmalt and the historical armor and the weaponry they used, and it's just like really ornate armor with feathers sticking out all over it. Not as practical as modern armor or magical enchanted armor, but very nice looking. And the weapons are very... It's like a flamberge short sword and a few long swords, a great sword. It's almost like a flamberge executioner's sword.
Yeah, I'll take all that as well, and I'll just kind of message Roger real quick and say, Roger, I need your bag of holding.
You float into the cellar, and you see Alaric covered in golden light. A lot of coins, a lot of armors.
Yeah, I just start throwing the armor in there, and I say, now, I'm gonna find somebody to enchant that, without a doubt. That's my father's armor, you know. And the sword, oh, the sword is beautiful.
It's a nice sword.
Yeah.
Flambergers aren't my style, but nice.
Throw all that stuff in there, and then I take out the painting. How big of a painting is it?
It is... You can roll it up,
Yeah, okay.
but it's about like 20 by 15 feet.
Okay, yeah, I rolled it up and I slid it into the bag as well. And is there, after like putting all that stuff in there and this spot is empty, is there anything else I see? Any like...
There's a desk with a few papers, and it appears to be legal documents. A few of them appear to be like new recipes for wine. You never really knew your father to be the one who makes the wine or designs how it tastes, but there's a few papers about winemaking.
Yeah, I'll take those and pocket those as well. For the desk, does it seem to have like a false bottom or anything?
Make an investigation check. You kind of move open the drawers, and you just like tap the bottom, and a small drawer folds out underneath, and there appears to be another set of papers and a very ornate, I guess, very ornate but not ostentatious dagger. It looks made of adamantine, with a black onyx gem in the pommel.
Yeah, I'll just take that, slide it into my belt, along with the other papers. I'll go over those later.
One of the papers just appears to be a deed for the property, burn marks on it, and transactions for slaves.
I'll burn those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Once those are gone, make my way back up, and I'll say,
And there is-
go to your magic check.
There also is a bottle of your family's wine, one of the first vintages, sitting on the table. Forgot to mention that part.
Yeah, I'll take that, slide that in the bag, and I'll say, when this is over, that's how we're gonna celebrate. That's the first vintage ever made.
Good idea.
You guys have so much alcohol.
I'll stay here for a little while. When you're done, head back over, and
We'll just
we'll
meet
go
up
out.
at the inn, and then we'll head out.
Uh,
Or the
I
center
think
of
I'm
town, whatever.
no, I think I'm gonna stay here for a little bit. Again, once you're done, just come back for me. But I'm gonna walk around.
Take your time. I'll be a minute. But we'll be around.
Right? And what are the rest of you doing?
I mean,
come.
if they want to do anything first. Jake, I'm just putting your first vintage wine under my alcohol list just for simplicity's sake. I
Okay.
don't know if you want me to keep it in my bag forever, like, until we need it, but
Until we need it, probably. But that's the wine, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So does anyone else have anything to do before I do my thing?
I mean, we were just in a city doing things, so no.
Someone is
So,
desperately trying to get in someone's room.
so I'll just find a magic shop, ask around, whatever.
Make an investigation check. Who's getting
The
knocked?
fucking FBI? What's going on?
Can I help him?
Sure.
That's fine, yeah.
You ask around for a bit, and you find Audrey's Sorceress Artifacts and Relics. It's not a very big shop, but it has that magical flair on the outside. Little fireworks going off in the windows.
I'll duck down and head on in.
As you duck down, you realize you need to duck a bit further. This building's a bit smaller than the other ones.
I'll just go parallel and like.
Okay. You know, it's not like a crawl, but it's quite the crouch for you. And you enter, and you see this female dwarf looking over a floating book in front of her, covering her face, and she obviously cannot see you as you enter.
Hello.
The book closes instantly. You see these giant glasses that magnify her eyes to be like almost the entire size of her face almost. Scruffy, like orange curly hair that shoots off as Vesper gets raided by the FBI. I think that's Vesper.
Open up.
Vesper's muted.
He just muted him.
Oh,
Yeah, just now.
okay. Curly orange hair that shoots off in all directions. Not very old for a dwarf, probably mid 100s. Kind of puts the book down. May I help you? Wide-eyed.
Yeah. I was looking. Could you enchant a flask to be infinite
That is
with the specific type of alcohol?
a simple task.
I put not the first vintage, but the vintage I got from his sister onto the table. Could you put infinite alcohol into it, like just a little pocket flask of this type of alcohol?
Strokes her chin. This is an easy request. Obviously. Yes, it can be done.
How much?
It'll be 125 gold. She has not blinked since you walked in.
Are you okay? You're kind of looking at me weird there.
She kind of like looks back at you. What do you mean?
Like, I mean, I know I'm not the ruggedly handsome person.
She's not like staring at you. She's moved her head. She just hasn't blinked yet.
Oh. I mean, you haven't really blinked. I'm not gonna steal anything.
Of course you won't. I can tell.
Why would you say that?
Look at me.
She looks over at you, Gree. Your friend is odd. Is there anything you require?
Sure. I'll look over your wares.
She kind of points to a empty wall, and she like tells you, look back at me, and you look back, and she claps, and you look back at the wall, and there's now a shelf with a few items on it.
That's a really neat trick.
Thank you.
I like that.
I look
How
over
long
the
until the flask is done?
Give me 10 hours.
Thank you.
3 days.
10 years.
Alright, I'll be right back.
What are the items?
There appears to be a kind of a small, almost like a Rubik's Cube, but without colors, and almost looks like MC Escher stairs that kind of turn in on themselves. There's a few
I don't know what
scrolls.
MC Escher is.
The guy who made the stair painting that's infinite.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's a few scrolls, a few wands, a few potions, and a few weapons that kind of gleam in the light a bit more.
Is there a spear?
There is... I'm going to roll for that after this Steam notification gets out of my way.
Get fucked, loser.
Get fuck loser.
What would I roll for that? Percentage. Can you just
Spear
roll percent? I don't think you can just roll percent. Only 100. Oh, wait, is there?
No. Why would there be a 1DS frog?
I don't fucking know. I don't know what percent die is. You find a spear. Glistening, kind of a purplish light. Very fancy,
I'll
like sea-themed almost.
Okay. I'll take the cube of stairs and the spear to say what do.
The spear is enchanted, so when you hit things, you can cause them more harm very easily, very quickly. It has the effect Bane. It does 1d6 extra damage to all creatures, and the first time you hit someone, you can impose disadvantage on whatever they roll next.
Like attack, saving throw.
Yes,
ability
and
check.
whatever they roll next.
Is it a one? Is it a +1? Or?
+1, yeah. +1 does an extra d6 necrotic, and gives them disadvantage on the first roll they make.
Okay. How much?
That is 650.
Okay. What is this cube?
This cube,
Thing.
it is very special. I found it on a voyage. She takes it in her hand and it kind of levitates. Everything she's like touched has like levitated above her hands.
I noticed.
I like you.
If you
have
turn
gift
it,
time.
you as well. As she looks over your black clothes, trench coat, eyeliner. She twists and turns some of the stairs in a certain formation. If you turn this one, and she doesn't turn the next one all the way, if you turn this one, it will make a room impenetrable by all means, and lets you relax and do whatever business you require for 24 hours.
So it's that spell.
It's Mordenkainen's mansion, except you could pick, like, what kind of... It's not a mansion, it's just one giant room, and you get to pick what that room has in it.
How much for that?
That is, 1,200.
Hold on. Is that the only thing it does?
It creates a magical impenetrable room.
Yeah, that. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that all
How
it
much?
does?
1,200.
I'll give you the stone of good luck for it.
Make a persuasion check.
What does the stone of good luck do?
+1 to all
Stone
rolls.
everything. Literally everything.
But it's in.
18.
But it's attunement, right?
No, yeah.
I'll say if you were gonna say no, I was like, whoa.
If it
900,
wasn't a tomb, I'd be using it right now.
950 gold and the stone.
It's a bit much.
It is a
The
one-of-a-kind
stone is
item.
really- You know what the stone does, right?
It's
Of course.
It's a 7th level spell.
I know. You want to go halvesies on this one?
How much is
Three.
half?
950 divided by 2.
930? 2. That's 475 each.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go half. See what do.
She takes the
And I'll-
gold, it floats above her hands. Pleasure doing business with you. Anything else?
Yeah. I'm gonna. You said 600 something for the spear.
Yeah.
Before I buy that, I wanted to see. I take out the tongue, the gibbering tongue.
Mhm.
I wanted to see if you had anything relating to this.
Takes it, it floats in her hands. You see her like adjust the rim of her glasses and her eyes get bigger. It is, ancient. I believe it's a one-of-a-kind item.
Sure.
It seems fractured.
Like it's not complete?
Let me check. She kind of floats backwards into a room very quick, like slowly at first, and then very quickly, and the door shuts behind her. And you hear rumbling and
Is it
moving.
only once per day for the mansion?
Yeah, once per day. It's for 24 hours though, so you make
Yeah.
it. It's open for 24 hours. So technically, it's infinite, but she comes out a minute later. She has a few papers in her hand. She like spins and floats back towards the desk. I found these, and the papers float into your hands, and it appears to be like a diagram of someone cutting up a beholder for meat, and it has 3 parts labeled that are important: the gibbering tongue, the mouth ball, which was the core, and the beholder's eye stalk.
So there's an eye stalk.
The eye stalk, the tongue, and the core with the mouths.
What do I do with
I believe if you bring them together, it might return to its...
create a beholder?
I don't think so. I think it was purposefully made to take the aspects of a beholder and give it to a person.
I want it. Okay.
I am not sure where the eye stalk could be. You could check Tragal. There's a lot of business there. Solia,
Yeah.
the college, possibly.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. I'll tip her like a gold. Can I have those papers or like
Yes,
a copy
you
of
may
them?
have the papers. I have memorized them.
You're very smart.
Anything
I
else you
really
require?
like you. You're very good.
Yeah, the spear.
Uh,
I hand her 600 or whatever.
floats in her hands with the extra 1 into her pocket.
Could you teach me how to do that?
No, it was an accident.
Fair enough.
How much was the spear?
600.
Just 600.
You don't know Vedastus, do you?
I know Vedastus. I not know him personally, but I've heard of his name. Very famous.
Thought you
Owns,
seemed like
owns,
you know.
owns an astral gate. I'm quite jealous.
We went
I've
through,
been in there,
through
yeah,
his
it's-
astral gate.
It's
I'm now
quite- quite the
jealous of you as well.
We have
kind
a
of-
thing that opens up a portal to the astral plane if you wanted to like try and like copy the spell. Maybe.
That's not how it works.
I could look at its properties and see if I could figure out if there's more of them. Unsure if I could make
Yeah.
it myself. Would you allow me to see it?
We don't have it
we
on
don't
us.
have it
we'll
on us.
bring it. We'll bring it back later.
Thank you.
Time next time, baby.
Next session.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, like the Iron Man one.
If I am able to copy its properties, perhaps I'll give you a discount further for anything in my store.
We'd appreciate it.
If there's nothing else, the shelf kind of folds into the wall.
I really like that.
Have a good day. And you notice she's a bit taller than some dwarves, and she floated into the other room. Her feet do not touch the ground, similar to yours when you activate your float.
I'd like do the backstroke out.
Okay.
So how does it? What the fuck does spear do? I don't know.
The spear is a +1 to hit, does an extra 1d6 necrotic damage, and you can inflict disadvantage on the first roll any creature makes once per turn.
Okay.
So like your first attack, you can give them the Bane effect, which,
Sure.
yeah. Not the spell Bane, but the Bane effect.
But
Does it
Bane.
give me to multiple people if
No.
you hit them one time?
It's just the creature's next roll, so. On the first attack you make with it.
Sure. That's actually pretty cool. But it's not silvered, right?
No.
Bree, I'm gonna be honest. I do not want to give her that lamp. It's kind
I
of
don't. No. Give it to her. No. I just wanted her to study it.
Yeah, I don't want her to touch it.
Okay. That's fine.
Alright.
Just put it off. Say, oh yeah, shit, we forgot. Oh, well, alright.
Low wisdom score. Ooh,
Alright,
What's
so
wisdom?
what you guys doing now?
something we don't have.
Yeah.
Just call Alaric and say whenever he wants to head out.
Alaric,
I
you
have
get,
something to talk with you
you get a
about,
text
but
message.
I don't remember what it was.
Well, no, when you remember it, you can talk to me about it.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was doing it over. The armor I got from my father, I kind of want to get it enchanted. if you'd like, we can run over to Treagle. I know they've got better enchanters than Alavila. So if we can just run over and order an enchantment and then make our way out.
Where? Which
Tregal
city
is
are we
the
going?
capital.
Treagle, yeah.
But that's pretty far away.
It's the
That's
It's
that's
the opposite.
that's about an hour more. 3 hours there.
same
2 hours to
there
her.
and then
2 hours to
2
Harana.
hours back. Yeah,
Which
so
would
it's gonna be 5 hours.
But it would,
Frog,
it-
can we
no.
just make it 100 miles an hour? It's so much easier to do that math than 75.
No,
Oh my god.
If it's 3 hours there, that makes it 3 hours back.
And
From-
then another hour.
from
Another 2 hours. So 5 hours to get there.
8 hours. Right?
So it's 4,
3.
8.
Yeah, we'll just go to the bandits then. We'll just go to where they are then. We can take care of that after.
I like how you guys have this infinite travel thing, and too inconvenient to wait those hours.
You kind of have a little bit more.
Well,
important
no, that is
things.
true. If I take a long rest to get my oversight thing back, and I can do that for you guys at any point, just to save your asses. So the 8 hours will give me time to get the long rest, and if we end up fighting the thing with the bandits and something happens,
Okay, that's fine.
yeah, we'll do that.
All right.
We'll metagame it a little bit.
Oh,
and,
okay. I remember what I wanted to talk to you about. Alaric.
yeah. So you kind of show up, we get back in the carriage, we go to Tregal.
Alaric, the thief that stole the paper, the
Yeah.
deed. Yeah, he changed his clothes, right?
Right?
Now, I think, did you want to, like, find him? See why? Or no? No? Okay, I'm relieved.
Do you remember what he looked like?
Yeah, I cast minor illusion and have a picture
This
of him.
kind of purplish, reddish, bluish tiefling, long horns that go all the way back and towards the front of his face like tusks. The hair is a bit muddled. It kind of like fades in and out between like long and shaggy black to straight black. Facial features pretty plain, kind of gaunt cheeks, long nose, slender eyes.
I don't know what we can really do. You can go talk to the lawmaster. I don't know everybody in the city. Much as I'd like to say,
I'm a little disappointed.
yeah. But we could try and track him down. But from what my sister had said earlier, the bandits are trying to get more power. That might have been an attempt. So if we go take out the bandits, we might end up finding him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
but,
we do think.
All right, so where are you guys going, Tregal?
yeah, Tregal.
All right.
First, I'm gonna just try and find an enchanter and get the armor enchantment. Second, I'm gonna go talk to the leader of the Iron Troopers, because that's another thing I'd like to do here.
All right. Hold on.
I'm sorry, Vesper.
Oh. Yeah. I put a potato in the microwave.
I'll be right back. This sponsored by Dasani.
Now, short break. You put potatoes in the fucking oven a lot, dude.
No,
I
microwave.
mean, they're pretty easy to like do in the oven or in the microwave.
Yeah. My grandma on my mom's side sewed like a pouch that you can just put them in without having to poke holes in them.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Should sell those.
She doesn't really do much sewing anymore.
Why?
Because she's old. I don't know.
I thought you were gonna say she's dead. I was
No.
gonna say, just like you hope Frog's grandma is.
None of them have died.
We're on stream. You can't say that. We're gonna get banned for like anti-old people or something.
You guys are anti-ancient.
Redletter Media hasn't been banned for old people.
They also don't stream on Twitch.
I mean, that's fair.
But yeah, I don't know. I kinda
Thinking
want-
about
I kinda want
boobs.
potatoes now.
Yeah. I kind
Bro,
of
me
just
too.
wanted potatoes the whole time. So now I went up and
How long you
made
put them in the
potatoes.
microwave for? Because I usually just do the oven.
5 minutes is how long
5 minutes?
I put it in.
5 minutes in the microwave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
What's the problem?
lot.
Not
That
really.
is a lot of time.
Not really.
No,
it's
you
a-
usually
it's a
make it like
whole
hot pockets.
potato. It's
I
an
warm up hot
entire
dogs
potato.
within like 40 seconds.
Hot dogs
No,
are
no.
different than
But
potatoes.
a hot dog is already cooked. You're just warming it up. You have to
Oh,
cook the
you're
potato.
saying you put an uncooked potato in the microwave?
Yes. Yes.
That
I
is
thought that was
disgusting.
very heavily implied.
How's that
I
disgusting?
was not paying attention absolutely.
You know,
critically,
I probably shouldn't leave with you guys still able to speak, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah, we
talked
talked
about
about
how
grandmas.
Vesper wants her grandma dead.
Oh, again.
Yeah, but then we started talking about potatoes, and Joe thinks 5 minutes is too long for anything in the microwave.
It's pretty long.
Yeah, but it's a whole ass potato.
It's an entire potato.
An uncooked potato.
Yeah.
I haven't cooked uncooked food in a microwave because I think it tastes gross.
Joe, you cook steak in the microwave. Shut
I don't
up.
cook uncooked steak in
Yeah,
the microwave. I
I mean-
put
There's-
leftover
yeah.
from already cooked steak from like
Still disgusting.
it tastes like steak.
It tastes like
meat.
a potato.
This is a whole discussion we could have, like, in character.
Yeah.
I could bake the potatoes. It just takes more time and effort.
I don't.
Do you think-
I don't eat potatoes that often, so I
But
can't.
hang on, here's an important. Do you think wizards abuse their power a little bit by like
Oh,
getting
hell yeah.
food and
Oh,
thinking it's
yeah.
not cooked,
Yeah.
so they just kind of cast firebolt on it real quick?
Yeah, I would do that. Like, if I had Firebolt, I'd just do that all the fucking time.
The food isn't cooked. 1 second.
Just
It's
use, like,
overcooked.
She's like
No.
burning hands.
Yeah.
On a whole cow. Just
In fact, I think like in a D&D setting, a master chef would probably be a wizard who just doesn't stop abusing his power.
yeah,
Yeah, he can cast first level spells infinitely,
a level 20 wizard who can just do that.
but
Yeah,
that's
is
just
this a JoJo reference? Anyway, you guys ready to keep going?
We're all back, right?
Yeah, did the marker move on the screen?
No.
No.
I need to reload then, because it said
I see it.
it
on,
said
I see
issues.
It on the Twitch
I see it on the
screen, though.
stream, but not.
Yeah.
reload.
Reloading.
This is the part of the game where we reload.
So we're gonna head back to Bella Villa, right?
Yeah,
Bella
we're gonna
Villa.
head back to Bella Villa. This is
Bella
just
Villa.
again, this accomplishes a couple of things. I get the oversight thing back, so just
Yeah,
in case
it's
you guys
fine.
end up being in trouble. But also because the leader of the Iron Doors is supposedly here, and to get that armor enchanted.
We aren't really like doing anything.
Yeah, we're not in much of an emergency, so.
Just a demon.
Yeah, I mean the demons.
Okay, you know what? Demon's kind of on the back burner right now.
I knew this. I told you this would happen, and you guys were like, no, we're really worried about this, but I planned for this. I
know
knew.
it's
mean,
not
I'm
worried
I'm
about demons.
concerned.
We're
but
kind
I'm
of
really
accomplishing a lot of things because a vineyard will like bring in a lot of money for the army if we need it, you know.
Okay, Alaric too.
Okay,
Just
Alaric,
saying.
too. Okay, Boker.
All right, you guys play mahjong in the cart.
Yeah, our vacation in Spain.
Jeeves welcomes you back, and you guys head to Dragal.
I'm
I
getting
give
incredibly
my mask.
bored, so I'm just gonna start mixing poisons.
Make a.
I cover my.
You have
face.
alchemist tools, or what do you have?
I have a herb kit.
Make a check with that.
Oh, while we're in, is there like a window on this thing?
Yeah, there's window. They're glass. That you need to open the door.
I'm gonna take the probably mostly decomposed body of the gnome we killed all the way back in Holiday and throw it up.
It's been in the bag of holding, so you pull out a fresh corpse of a gnome of Brian. Still smug ass face, shitty facial hair, balding, scrawny, stab wound in his chest,
Hey, is that
arms
Brian?
dangling.
Yeah. Hey, Larry,
I
how's
forgot
it
about
going? And I chuck him out the window.
Couldn't
You-
you have like done that any of the times we were over water?
I mean, it's in the astral plane. No one's gonna find the body.
You
No one
open,
would've fallen
Yes.
apart.
you open the door and you
It's probably gonna
chuck him out, and it like flips through the astral plane like 2001: A Space Odyssey, hits a time vein and vanishes.
We're gonna
Somebody
see
is
that guy in
getting
the
a
next
corpse
campaign.
in their past.
The cart was almost depressurized when you open the door, but you guys are fine. You shut the door really quickly. A very
We're gonna
cold
get the
chill.
first session of the next campaign. The body's just gonna plop on the ground.
What that body is from and where, what it means.
All right.
What irresponsible asshole threw a body through a time vein?
3.5 hours later, you guys arrive in
Hey,
Tragal.
hold on. Poison throw.
Oh yeah, you got a 15. What kind of poisons do you have on you right now? Just like
I
the
have
poisons you make.
Basic poison.
Okay. What do you try to mix it with? Just poisons together?
Yeah. Trying to
You-
see what happens. What it makes.
The same poison, you just have more of it in a single bottle now.
Damn it. Okay, I'll introduce. I have. Hold on.
A base?
Yeah.
What are you
Base
using as a
and metal.
base?
I have something, Frog. Acid. No, that one.
He just bleeds into the fucking thing.
I have actually. Can I ignore the poisons and just try and experiment with the ether salt that that I've forgotten about?
Sure.
What about those beans?
I can't do anything with the beans in the astral plane. You want me to make a fucking mummy lord in the astral?
Why not?
Falls to the time vein into the next campaign too.
It's us in the next campaign.
Like, you mix together. You know the basic ingredients of a healing potion. You have enough, and you begin making that, and then you mix in the ether salts. You play with it a bit on the seat. There's enough room for this. The cart's pretty big, enough to fit Roger and Giga at the same time, at least. You begin mixing, and there's a flash, like there usually is when it becomes a healing potion. There's a reddish flash. However, it quickly dissipates outward, or inward out, into this very, very light blue, and a bit of mist kind of forms in the bottle, and a bit of condensation on the side freezes over. It's very cold to the touch now.
Hey, Mark, can you identify this?
I don't know
I don't think Mark.
mustard gas in the
I don't think Mark's here.
Okay, I get Mark to identify it.
I will identify this thing for you, Gree.
No, hang on.
I will identify this thing for you, Gree.
It's a little bit too much like that one Game of Thrones character.
I'm pretty sure it makes invisibility potions, but I
It
don't
does.
My name's
remember.
Vespa. I'm a saber now.
I now have 3 invisibility potions.
It has created a potion of greater invisibility.
Oh, greater.
Mhm.
Nice.
How much ether salt did you use? All of it at once?
I mean, whatever it takes to make it greater.
That would require about half of it, so you can have 2 greater potions of invisibility.
Okay.
These are potions of greater invisibility, Gree.
I like how I had the body of the gnome in my regular items section of my,
Luckily, nothing touches there.
yeah.
But 3 hours pass. The cart grinds to a halt. Jeeves kind of pokes his head back. We've arrived, gentlemen.
Thank you, Jeeves.
This place, from my point of view, which is kind of blurry and blue, it looks pretty nice.
It's actually quite nice. Hey, by the way, you want this mask?
Sure.
I handled the mask I got when I was at the.
Puts it on. Are you just going to keep giving me clothing?
Yes.
You know what?
I know the astral plane is cold, but I don't feel temperature. I have no skin.
Well, it's not about. Look, there's a guy that works for me that I kind of give all my weapons to, so this is just an adaptation of that.
You know, I know you
Right.
said you don't want to, but we really should get him like his own body so he can stretch his legs once in a while.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, I can move off the cart. I just can't leave the astral
Well, like,
plane.
yeah, we need you out and about.
It's fine. I don't remember what the outside is like.
Well, we're gonna show you at some point.
Honestly, I'm not sure if I was a person before. It's been a long time. However, you
excuses.
I get to meet lovely people like you every couple of thousands of years.
You're gonna be a real boy. Don't worry about it.
Yep, we got your back, James. Even if that's not what you want.
You guys are the weirdest customers.
I really don't want to take his back though. It looks like it wouldn't.
Well, obviously we're not gonna take
Yeah.
it back, but anyway, I'm gonna just go look for an enchanter shop. I got the.
You X out of the cart, it kind of sucks away from you, and you guys are now in the middle of Tregal, which looks pretty similar to Bellavilla, but much, much taller, much more compact and dense,
Time to find my village.
and a lot of towers poking up and around. Just standing in the middle of the city, you hear music. And you look around, there's just people in their windows strumming on lutes, people running around with flowers and greenery.
Yeah, I turn back to the group and I say, this happens a lot. There's a lot of festivals, but more importantly, let's get the enchanting done, and then we're gonna find the iron doors. You guys can hang out if you want.
If this was more grassy, I'd actually build a house here at some point.
Tregal's the greenest part of the malt, but it's still like Spain brownish
Yeah,
green.
It's like arid grassland.
Yeah, arid,
type.
almost arid tropical.
Best
If that
variety
was
to
even possible.
identify.
Okay, that's fine. What would I identify?
Greater magic, greater invisibility.
What? I didn't hear anyone what they said because everyone
Greater
talked over each
invisibility.
other. Just a potion.
Potion, 2 potions of greater invisibility that he made.
Alright, but yeah, I'm gonna look for enchanter.
All right. As I load the generator. All right. You make an investigation check, actually.
Okay. Does anybody want to help me?
Sure.
You don't even need it.
Natural 20.
And a 23. You roll a 20 and a 19. All right. Through the city, you get pointed in the direction of the market central, and you travel along the roads. More and more people just out and about. This place is almost like a vacation home every step of the way. It's just very, very lively and lovely here. And as you enter into the market district, you see this single-story building made of like polished marble, stained glass windows,
Fancy.
and out the front, you see this very large stone figure, almost a statue, but like segmented, holding a very large marble rod with little strips of gold kind of trailing throughout it, and it's just standing at the side of the door. It's about as tall as the building.
I poke its chest. Is it alive?
It's taller than you, and you poke its chest, and its eyes light up this very bright blue, and it kind of takes the staff and like holds it out. Welcome to Gorm's Emporium.
I like that. I love this place. Why did you leave here?
Personal reasons.
And it kind of like takes the staff to the side and gestures towards the door. Do not steal, or I will have to crush you.
God.
I like
yes.
him.
Oh please.
I'm telling you, I told you guys, it's a
Daddy's
beautiful
dad.
culture.
There's like greenery growing out of the segments of its body.
Is it nighttime yet?
No, it's... You guys woke up, went to the place, went to the shop. It's like middle of the day.
Yeah, I walk into the shop, looking for the enchanter.
Alright, you enter the shop. It's just like...
Deal. So he crushes me.
You die. You step in. It's pretty nice in here. The outside is like marble, but on the inside it's like nice, almost like a cabin kind of look in some regard. And you enter.
It's got that comfy feeling.
It's got that comfy feel. There's no fireplace or like wood logs, but he somehow made marble comfy. And you see this broad, kind of asymmetrical half-orc at the counter. Eye patch over one eye, one tusk cracked, one of his arms a little smaller than the other, standing at the counter, leaned over it. Welcome to Gorm's Emporium. I see you're new to town. Nice to meet you all.
Well, they're newer than I am, but I'm looking to get some gear enchanted.
I take out the armor.
That's more than easy enough. And he kind of like slides the smaller arm off the table. He moves it, but it's kind of like sluggish as he kind of takes the armor. Now this is some relic type of stuff right here. There's some,
Belong to my dad.
I don't know your dad, but he had nice taste.
Hey, we got similar taste. I'm looking to see if you can do something with that armor there.
Anything in particular?
Well, Gorm, I'm in a soldier's profession. I gotta keep myself safe, you understand?
Right.
Any way you can, I guess, affect the metal to make it more resistant to attacks?
I can see what I can do. You want the house special, right?
What's the house special?
It's a surprise.
I like that guy.
Gorm, I like it. How much is it? How much for the house special?
Is your name Gorm?
Gorm. Yes, that is my name.
Okay, I was just making sure because you didn't really.
You're right. I don't really. Takes the armor, kind of puts it to the side. Now, I got ideas. Match the old legends of that type of armor. You notice as he's talking, he talks with his hands, but only one of his arms is really moving. The other one kind of is stiff. I'd say about 3,500 for what I got in mind. If it don't work, I'll reimburse you.
Well, it's quite a bit of money. 3,500. I'll tell you what. I'll pay 3,500. If it doesn't work out, I've got a couple other ideas. You can keep the gold. We'll just figure something else out.
All right. Is that all you need?
Yeah, that should be all I need. I don't know about these guys.
I do have that guy out front. What is
Yeah. That is a construct I built with my friend Dimitri.
he? Do you think you could build a smaller version, about like 6 inches tall?
I enchanted it. I can't. You'd have to talk to Dimitri about building it.
I mean, you can't do that for me and workshop it.
I mean, Dimitri does that. That builds constructs for a living. It's kind of his business. You might want to talk to him, get the specifics. I just made mine talk a bit more.
But you can enchant it to talk.
Yeah.
Like, can I like give it like words to say?
Yeah, you can give it a full vocabulary.
I'll come back to you. Where's
Alright.
your friend?
He should be on the opposite side of the market district. Tall, kind of wooden-looking building. Black roof. He's a bit of a weirdo.
Thank you.
No problem. Is there anything else y'all are looking for?
Yeah, I'll take out the paper with the ice stock on it.
Looks it over.
Got this.
Let me look in the back right quick. Walks over. Got a bit of a limp.
That's when they look in the back, but they're really just talking shit about you to the other
Yeah, they
employees.
walk in the back and he's like, "Can you fucking believe this guy? He gave me a piece of paper. What the hell am I supposed to do with this?"
Takes him a minute too. He limps into a back room. Takes a minute. Comes back out. Now, where'd you get these papers? These look old.
I got it from a shop in Bella Villa.
Bella Villa? Oh. Right. I guess you met Audrey. I don't have that eye stock or the core. Do you? How many other things you got?
I just have the tongue.
The core is the gibbering mothball.
I know.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm not telling him that.
Well, I ain't got the core and I ain't got the eye stock, but I think I know where it might be.
Okay.
You'd probably want to ask the old college in Solia. They have a big.
Where the fuck is Solia?
Solia is the capital of, or Ponzili is the capital of Solia. That's what I meant to say.
I have no idea where either
It's
of
the
those
college.
places are.
It's the college in
Yeah.
Ponzili.
Right there.
Okay. Oh, that's where your sister is. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right there.
I have to ask them. I'm pretty sure they got it on display with a bunch of the other weird
Son of a
items.
Sister might know where.
They sell them to people, but it's usually a little pricey.
Yeah.
But from what I understand of these papers, you could try to fuse the first one together with the core if you found that first.
Okay. Thank you. I'll make sure to look out for the core. I have no idea where it would be, you know?
I don't either. Slide you the paper
I'll-
back.
Thank you.
I'll run over to what's his face. You guys can just do whatever for a minute. I'll be right back. And I'll head
Okay.
over to the thing.
Roger
I'm gonna
clicks
go
his
look for
boots and.
I'm not clicking my boots for that shit.
The commander of the Iron Doors.
All right, Mark.
Okay, guys.
Agree, what are you
one at a
doing?
time.
One at
You
a
can
time.
go
I'm just
first.
gonna come with Jake and look him.
The composing. Okay.
If you go with Jake, I'll go with Loyal.
Okay. Gree and Roger, you head into this. It almost looks like a stereotypical witch's hut. It's got more greenery than a witch's hut would, but it's one nonetheless. You don't see any constructs outside, but as you enter, it's kind of dark, kind of dingy. It obviously doesn't match the rest of this area, but you see this kind of older-looking human man, grayish black hair underneath a very tall, stereotypical wizard's hat that kind of folds over to the side, long brown robes, sitting in a chair near a fireplace that is not emitting smoke.
What an amazing culture.
So exotic. Closes the book, and you hear like the voice like echo through the room. Halt!
I stand in
Just
place,
stop.
not moving.
I glance around.
Sets the book down, and you see the figure in the chair vanish, and you see the same man walk around the corner. Who are you?
I'm Roger.
Good to meet you. What do you want?
Hey, you know that thing out in front of Gorm's place?
Yeah, Billy.
Can you make a very small, like 6 to 12 inch version of that?
Like just a small Billy out of marble.
Yeah. Out of anything, really.
Well, clay's the easiest, and he rubs his hands together and like lifts them, and a kind of top-heavy humanoid figure appears. And he like puppeteers it for a second, like that.
Can you make out of like metal or steel or something?
Yeah, and he like smushes it back together. What do you want it for? You want it to like beat people up?
Mostly just an ornament, to be honest.
Do you want it to be sentient? As he puts air quotes in
I just want to get him to like make it talk, like Billy.
Easy enough. Give me a few hours and 200 gold. What kind of metal?
Bronze, brass.
Bismuth, got it. 200 gold.
There you go.
Takes the gold. Give me an hour.
Can you make me one out of a strawman?
No. For
Alright,
one,
set down the rock.
that wouldn't. I can't do anything with this.
I didn't
He
actually
holds
do
his
that.
hand, doesn't make a clay figure. See?
I didn't actually do that.
Is that all? Does your green friend want something?
I don't know, it's
I just wanted to compliment you on your exquisite work, good sir.
Thanks.
Are
not
you
a lot
gonna be able to
of
make
people
it
do that.
talk, or is that his deal?
That's his thing. I make it able to do things. I can enchant it to do simple things, but like
That's a good thing.
like a backflip.
Uh,
Like makes the clay figure and it does a backflip.
Simple movements is fine, you know, poses, such.
All right. Give me an hour.
Take time. And I'll just, like, I guess I'll use my boots to run up with Alaric.
All right. Alaric, Mark, Gree, Roger. You guys are walking through the city looking for the iron doors, correct?
And yeah, by this point, I have a question.
Hmm.
Our glutes have to be amazing by now, right?
No, you guys sail a lot.
Damn.
Mine probably, like,
Your
Withered
Mark
away.
Mark and Roger's glutes were great, then they withered away when they started floating.
Yeah, they started
And-
floating, and they're like, alright, we don't have to use
They atrophied. They atrophied.
just have little tiny baby legs flop around.
Like the scene in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, but I'm looking for the commander of the Iron Doors.
You get led towards the more military district of the city, and you see this very, very, very tall. It's almost like someone took a building and just made it bigger, like not added onto a story, just made it bigger.
Right.
Made of mostly iron, kind of wrought iron gates all around it, but very thick and spinning upward like drill bits almost, and two massive iron doors out front with just like a bunch of, almost like a tapestry carved into them. And there appears to be a few people just like outside wearing iron doors attire. They have smaller shields. What is your business here?
I'm here to talk to your commander.
About what?
I'm gonna purchase you guys.
They kind of look to each other. Right this way. The doors open like surprisingly quickly for these doors made of thick, solid iron. They just slide across the floor. You guys get led into this giant chamber. It's almost like, think the Companion's Den in Skyrim, but much bigger and a lot more metal. And you see this kind of very, very old human male, long, like stringy gray-white hair, a thin goatee, eyes very closely squinted, one of his legs missing, sitting in a wheelchair with a few burly orcs around him wearing the iron doors armor, and you get led his way. And he's just like looking over a book as he turns to you. What is it?
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Alaric. You may have met my sister. She goes by Laurely.
I've met her. I didn't think she had any family.
It's a recent thing.
Turn me around, and the orcs turn him around to face you. Even for being old, decrepit, and kind of smallish. He still looks able, in a way.
Tough.
He looks like he has been like chewed by a Tarask and spit back out perfectly fine.
He has those grandfather arms that are like 10 times the
Yeah.
size that they should be.
He's got Captain Sparkle's arms.
He is Popeye, the sailor man. I got it.
Yeah.
Reaper.
Oh,
Oh man.
oh man! And turns towards you. What's your business?
I seek to purchase the iron doors.
How many?
All of them.
All of them. That's quite a expensive price. Your sister
Told 10,000.
only bought about 7 of us.
Well, I came into wealth through my own means.
Writing up, I'm lying here.
Are you not going to tell them about the thing? Alaric.
You're right. I need the iron doors to take care of the bandits, and then afterwards I have another job for them. But I assume the 10,000 will suffice.
10,000 will gain our workforce for about 2 months. We work in 2-month periods. Are you certain about buying all of us? This seems like quite the job. I need more details.
Alright, well, the bandits are currently harassing my sister's vineyard, but more than that, have you heard about what's going on in Genesee? How many people are gathering?
I've heard a few things. I've heard a man wrestled a white shark.
That was me.
Kind of like a grandpa smile on his face. Impressive.
You did good, son.
You did good, honey. Impressive.
But beside that, the Ruby is gathering her forces. I've also organized that, as well as made contact with the Magnate and established a friendly relationship with him, along with several other organizations of a less venerable bent.
I'm not a politician. I don't care about your reputation.
And I appreciate that.
What are you buying us
However-
for? Certainly can't be just the bandits.
You are right about that. In Genesee, everybody's gathering because there's something that's been released. A fiend, a greater fiend.
Oh,
Something
great.
called
Another
Tagrinaz.
ancient evil. My
Yeah,
favorite.
another ancient evil.
Hope
You
this
deal with
one-
of those every week,
Hope
right?
this one's real. Arm on the table. He kind of leans up in his wheelchair. How dangerous do you think this is?
Well,
Pretty bad.
dangerous enough that 2 ancient civilizations nearly died trying to steal them.
Kind of looks to the orcs around him. Well, boys, we're getting our money's worth.
Now, I offer you 10,000, and then once this job is complete, I will hopefully have a small slice of Dohmalt after another short campaign. In doing this and taking portions of Dohmalt, I offer you a slice of land, your own personal land. You can have a castle, you can have a keep or a fortress or however you'd like. You'd still be under my employ during that time, but you'd have your own base of operations.
That
Do with it as
sounds,
you like.
that sounds doable. We can work out the semantics afterward, but additionally, he kind of like eyes your arm. Where'd you get that?
From a drow.
What's his name? I'd like to meet him. And kind of like looks at his stump leg. I'm sick of this
You'd have to talk
chair.
to you'd have to talk to the Well, matter of fact, I can talk to the Magnate for you. If you came with us, I'd be able to bring it to the Magnate. He can contact this drow. I have no means of doing it myself. And you can get one. I can knock off the price or do it for free.
Big ol' toothy smile. One of his teeth is missing. This sounds like quite the deal.
I'm no politician, but I'm a businessman.
I can tell. Your sister's very similar.
I know.
How am I going to meet the magnate, though? It's quite a long journey by ship.
I look over to whoever's got the lantern,
Mark.
and I say,
Mark's head has been replaced by the lantern.
We have our ways.
yeah, no, Mark, bring up the lantern. Show him.
I'll pull it out.
I wouldn't light it though.
Looks like a lantern. I don't know much about magic, but if you say you got a fast means of travel, you got a fast means of travel.
Once it's lit, you'll see a ghostly carriage show up. It's got a skeleton named Jeeves. It'll take you wherever you need to go.
Question.
For me,
Well, in general, does this place have a teleportation circle?
the Iron Doors, no. Tagrinaz itself, not one that's known to the public. There's probably a few up in the higher brass.
Fair enough.
But
We always got magic types. Put it on the table.
yeah. So I don't know how I'm carrying around this 10,000 gold.
In the bag of holding, I assume.
Yeah, I just kinda
1,
plop it down.
2, 3.
Do you have any information about what's going on in Dohmalt at the moment?
Dohmalt. Shit's a hellhole. Civil War, elephants, big guns. I don't like that place. Worked there a couple times, but
Oh. One
Too
other thing
cold.
In addition to all this, your Iron Doors might walk away with some Australian weapons.
sees his eyes widen. He looks over to the orcs. That
All of
sounds quite agreeable.
There's been a small buildup of Australium. The royal vault, I suppose, has been opened up, and anyone who's willing to fight these fiends may be given an Australian spear or an Australian tipped sword. Tipped, not plated, but an Australian weapon nonetheless.
We got to provide our own Australium.
Nope,
No.
Good.
provided for you.
Didn't want to tap into my stash.
No,
Puts his
you can
hands
stash it yourself.
Got a little bit. Trying to
You
make
could
something
make a
out of
foot
it.
out of the Australian if you really wanted to.
It's not enough to make me a whole leg.
Not a leg, a foot.
I'm not sure how that
Chick-
prosthetic stuff works, but
But in the meantime, gather your Iron Doors, all of them, and we're going to raid those bandits and take care of them once and for all.
I figure with all of us, it will be less of a raid and more of a stampede.
I hope so.
Leans up. You, sir, have a deal. You now have Cedric's Iron Doors at your service.
That's only like 250 guys though, right?
Yeah. Very, very well trained guys.
Well trained enough to have basically an entire fortress themselves, an Australian supply, small though it may be. And
By that he meant he has a rock of Australia.
They're kind of a stone's throw away from the astral shore, so it's kind of like bound to have some.
A stone's throw and a political cut through. But yeah.
well, I expect to see them all outside the. I just gotta get out a map and I mark it for them.
All right.
Probably about like we'll go like right there.
Okay. It'll take us
I get
a couple days travel to get there.
All right, we'll be waiting.
All right. All right, men. We gotta kill some bandits again. He kind of wheels himself to his table.
Yeah. Now, when they say bandits, is bandits like the term bandit, or is it like a specific group of people?
A specific group of people.
Not that we have much information. to go off of.
Your sister mentioned the black links to you. You probably just didn't hear me.
Black links, yeah, that's right.
Links as in chain links, not the animal.
Yeah. So once
And
we
not
take out the,
Gerudo.
yeah, once we take out the black links, we are going to have to go after the white Zeldas, which are a whole other matter entirely.
They're literally just white mages from Final Fantasy.
And the brown sheiks.
Do not say brown cheeks. Sounds like brown sheets. And it reminds me of that picture you posted.
Brown cheeks.
Alright.
Woo, daddy, you're
Stop!
kitty kitty.
Not on the street.
Not on stream! Alright. So what else you guys
so
doing?
I guess after that's all done, we can head over to like a meeting place and wait a couple of days to set up a small camp.
Alright.
You mean we gotta wait here for my shit to get enchanted? How much to get it, like the action figure thing enchanted?
It did a poo-woo.
150.
I'll take it.
Alright. Well, if we're going to be waiting a few days, I'll wait till.
No, it's just an hour.
An hour.
Oh yeah. Well, if we're going to be waiting for a few days. How many roughly do you think?
For the iron doors to get there?
Yeah.
Vesper, how fast do people go?
You can
It's
make
in
60
like
miles
30
in a
miles,
day.
isn't it? 30 miles in a day?
Not an
In-game,
army.
I think it's 60 miles a
Person.
day.
Not an
I
army.
mean, if we
It's
really
slower
wanted
for an
to,
armor.
We could teleportation circle him over, and then just drive back.
You need the whole army. You're waiting on the
Well,
army
I mean, for the
part.
old man to talk to the magnate.
We could chop it up to about like maybe 5 days.
Why don't we take care of the bandits first?
That's what we're doing.
That's what.
By ourselves.
I'd rather have a large group behind us. Number one, because I want to see how they fight. Number two, this is just easier.
Figuring they'd move a big army about 30 miles a day. Think about 10, 15 days.
That was
Well,
a lot.
His army could go on, and while his army is moving towards there, we could go over to the magnate and let the old man talk to him for the lake,
We could do that.
and then just drive back to like a middle ground.
As Frog is like, oh no, my boss. Oh no.
I didn't have anything planned.
They lies.
Fighting within like 8 sessions of now? Psh. As if.
Never.
I don't think we fought anyone since the demon.
Nope.
Nope.
So are we doing that?
That is a pretty good idea. We can take him to meet the magnate.
While his army is moving towards whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and by the time we get back, they'll be about halfway there, so we can join them and make the last bits of the
Yeah.
journey. Yeah.
They'll probably be like Los Montano by the time we get back.
Might be a little bit farther than that, but
No.
even better, you can actually get your magic item when it's all over. So you can get your enchanted item, and I can get my enchanted armor.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we can just pop back and stuff. It'll be fine.
Yeah, so we'll take the, once the old man's done strategizing or doing whatever he needs to do, we'll take him to go meet the magnate, knock on the door and say, yo, this guy want leg.
Alright. How are you guys getting there? Driving or teleportation circle?
Teleportation circle first.
Yeah.
Alright.
Not like we need the spell slot. We're kind of just bopping all over the fucking place.
You bamf into I's place, and you walk to the magnate's place with Cedric wheeling him. Like, was that a skeleton talking to me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He-
we're thinking
Okay.
about
Why don't we
getting
use
like a
a
body.
teleportation circle?
Yeah, we were doing. We were
Oh, yeah,
using
yeah.
the teleportation circle and then.
Okay.
But
Well, he'll say that later. You wheel him out through the city towards the magnate, through his little grove.
Or Loyal uses his boots so that he goes super speed.
You
Yeah,
own the
so
guy with the
super
wheelchair,
speed's the
like I'm
old
just
man.
flying.
Gone in ever.
Oh my god!
Frog, can you please move us back to the other map?
Let's not.
No, it's not worth it.
We're gonna be here for 5 minutes. Don't worry about it.
You wheel him to the magnate's place.
Don't give him a heart attack.
You wheel him to the magnate's place. You ask for Lador, the man who gave you your arm.
Wait there, one of the wheels break.
One of his 18 wheels.
I have to carry him the rest of the way.
And he hates it.
He probably likes it.
Alright. Alright, you guys head to the magnate's place. Find the magnate in the council room with Kedany and a few others.
I need to take a shit.
As Gree shits on the floor.
I shit my
Proverbial
bed
bed.
sheets. Bed sheets.
Alright, you guys enter, and the magnate turns. Hello, misfits. How have you been? It's been.
Cedric of the Iron Doors. I've met my sister, and all is going well.
Seems like you've had a pretty productive week.
Yeah, pretty productive
We
week.
can say that.
Yeah, it turns out my whole family's not dead, so
That is a good thing.
yeah, you should meet my sister sometime. I think you'd like her a lot.
Maybe. I have things to worry about. This is Cedric. What do you require of me for him? I've heard about the Iron Doors. I am quite impressed.
Well, Cedric here wants a leg similar to my arm. Is there anything we can do?
I would need to contact Lador. He's not easy to get a hold of compared to others, such as yourselves.
Is he related to Lawindo?
That is very offensive.
It's a racist joke. I don't want you here anymore.
Very
I'll
exotic
be
call.
done by-
So exotic.
But tell him that he's going to be building another limb, and if you'd like, he can study the modifications I've made on mine. That should get him here quick enough.
I will attempt to contact, or Thelma will attempt to contact him. Give me a few hours at the least.
Of course.
He's
Cedric,
odd.
would you like to stay here, Cedric, and wait the hours, or...
I can.
All right.
It's always nice visiting. I've been here once or twice.
While he's waiting here, Magnate, could you inform him of the entire situation?
Right. Kennedy, inform him of the
I
entire
feel like
situation.
we would have done that on the way over here.
It
No,
took
we
half a
teleported,
second.
yeah.
Yeah,
we We could have told them on the way.
Nah, I want...
Walking.
I'll let the Magnate have a little conversation with him.
Alright.
Okay,
So,
then.
you guys are...
Magnate's got a little bit more on his plate.
So you guys are waiting for Lador?
Yeah, might go see, no,
Gotta go bear a little bit, you know.
Okay,
Bring it to a
okay,
giant
okay.
ocean,
not for just to talk. Not
the
for
frog.
like,
Can I
What would a
find-
dog do? You know what I mean?
Can I get a double enlarged version from that link?
No.
She looks down at Loyal and she says, "Pathetic."
and then I come instantly.
And she pulls out her Fuda.
No, no. But yeah, we'll wait a couple of hours.
Alright.
When my Fuda GF smacks her cock against my balls.
Shut
Mark jumps into the ocean and is not seen ever again. Blex, come in here.
I can live on the ocean floor.
Yeah, that's true.
He is adapted to the immense pressure.
Of his GFs.
Don't.
Fuda. His voice.
The first void of natural wine.
Thank God.
Rename the void
Finally.
from the booty's void to the Fuda void.
Absolutely not.
Boots void.
Bodes.
The Fuodi's void.
Anyway, you guys,
Welcome to Natural One.
you
sponsored by
guys-
Fuda Void.
you guys wait for Lador, who shows up about 5 or 6 hours later. You don't see him enter the city, but you're called back to the magnate's place. And he's just standing there speaking with Cedric. The magnate kind of walks in front of both of them. You can leave him here, I suppose, while Lador works, and head back to wherever you were, or you could just wait until Lador finishes, as you know it takes a day or two.
Well, it's gonna be like 10 days until they get to where we need to go, so it's not really a big deal.
Yeah, we can take the day. I'll show Lador the modifications I've made to the arm.
Okay. Lador studies them vigorously. In fact, he asks you to take your arm off so he can study it.
Yeah, I take the arm off and it's just very uncomfortable. I am not used to my nub.
You guys see Alaric with his nub.
Oh God.
Cute,
Guys,
cute
don't
nub.
Do you like getting that petted during sex?
No. As a matter of fact,
The arm stays
I'm gonna talk
on
to
during
you.
sex.
The arm stays on.
Yeah, the arm stays
But-
on.
You put a condom over your arm.
That doesn't make sense.
I mean, it's a gun, you know. You need to like.
He's used to things going off prematurely.
What's a condom?
Yeah.
I'm so upset.
Scan condoms in the industry.
We ruined the stream.
Bear skin? Bear skin?
Yeah.
You mean... I don't want to talk to you.
Well, he's from up north. They don't really have like
Put your tummy
like
on the
sheep
phone.
or anything there, you know.
But it would be intestines, though. That still makes
There's
more
something-
sense.
I would like to extend my apologies.
To our sponsor, Dasani Water. So sorry.
Yeah, hey, Dasani. Oops.
They usually keep
Oops.
the thirst down, but it's not working out.
Wow.
What's
we
wrong
wait
when I
the
mentioned
day. Let's
Fuda?
just, please, let's just move on before it gets worse.
You guys
I'm
wait.
not getting any
You
better.
get your arm back. Cedric now has a functional, but he's not used to it, prosthetic leg. Kind of similar to yours, except it's more made of bismuth and has little ivory plates in the place of its knee.
Mentioning bismuth. What the fuck is it?
It's like it's bismuth
Isn't
bronze.
that good metal to use for things like
Looks cool though.
It's magic, Vesper. I get to do whatever I fucking want.
You're fucking this man.
He's kind of wobbling. Occasionally he'll sit back down in the chair and wheel himself for a bit. Take me a
You want me
minute
to,
to
like,
get used to this thing,
help
but...
you?
No, I can get it. It'll take me a bit to get used to it, but, I'll figure it out. You figured your arm out? As he slowly gets more southern.
Oh yeah. It'll take a little bit, but you'll get used to it. Have no worries. At least you can walk again.
That's true. I don't think I'll be kicking many people with it, but...
So, for doing this for you, what's this leg get me?
Oh.
Businessman to businessman.
Well, I didn't think I'd get it...
Man to bismuth man.
I didn't think I'd get it so fast. I say you could knock 1,000 off the price.
I mean, I did. How long has it been since the last time you walked?
It's been a while, but at the same time, I'm not much of a soldier anymore, so it's more of just a,
Courtesy.
No, that's not the word. It's more of just
How about you
a
extend our contract another 2 months?
4-month contract. Well, we got 2 doors, so 2 months per door. I think that'll work.
I agree. Alright, we'll make our way back.
Alright.
That
We'll
will
just have to do the
get over.
doors.
He is the iron doors. They have 2
Well, yes.
iron doors.
Is La Door a part of the Iron Door?
Absolutely not.
I like how his plotline came up again, despite you telling us it wasn't going to come up again.
It didn't really come up. He was just there. He was just there.
What'd you say, Vesper?
Nothing.
What? Say it. Say it,
No.
Vesper. Say it again.
Alright.
Fucking coward.
So we were gonna head back to Bella Villa, then to Trigal to get his armor, and then beat back with the fuck
See,
sticks.
I like this item that Frog gave us, but but somehow it feels longer, right?
Yeah.
Getting it all done in one session instead of spread out over like 10.
Yeah.
Did we get to 5 yet already, though? Do we need to sleep again?
You waited a day in
Oh, okay.
Jadal.
I would have shown everyone the mansion. Actually, no, you know what? I would have taken Nelwy, opened it up, and like, not a wedding suite, but like a nice bed and stuff.
A lover's suite.
Yeah.
Honeymoon suite.
I fucking hate you.
When you make the mansion, it is a singular, very large room.
Yeah.
The walls appear to be made of stairs that go off in every direction, but you can't walk down them. It's kind of trippy to look at.
It's kind of weird.
Can you walk up them?
You can like walk up the walls and on the ceiling. It's very odd, but you can't like go anywhere.
We do it on the ceiling.
Stream's canceled. Dasani Water, I'm so sorry. No, but
Fall off the ceiling?
you fall off the fucking carriage.
During that day, I'm gonna combine the core with the top. See what it does.
Thank God,
Alright.
it's been forever.
Okay, over the course of that night, you study the 2 items. You just try to stick it in the mouths as they whisper a couple times, but eventually you just ask it a question, and the mouths form and begin speaking, and you place the tongue in its mouth, and they fuse together, and I will send you the item.
Okay.
I have so many tabs open. Holy shit.
Alright. Well, we make our way back over the course of about a week, right?
Using the carriage,
Yeah, it's like 24 hours, right?
it's like 28 hours. 28 hours.
Yeah, so about a day.
Yeah. It's
A
now
day,
been.
and then another 8 hours, and then another 8
Oh no, a
hours.
day at the number.
You gotta
the
go
number-
heading straight to Bella Villa or straight to Jagal.
Straight to Bella Villa.
Alright.
And then 2 to Draw.
Alright.
And then
You guys arrive back in Bella Villa.
The smell of
The smell of Spain!
I hop out for 5 seconds, get the flask, and then head back.
You see
Okay, what's in the flask?
her almost blink as you
I
exit, but you close the door
don't-
before you see it.
At the moment.
Okay.
I have a pop.
It's a very nice, like red, varnished metal with like iron, like embellishments on the sides that make kind of a wavy C pattern. The top closing bit is looks like a cork, but it's made of metal. So it's almost like a really fat wine bottle.
So I hit a suitcase.
Get out. Bruna, get out.
All right.
Shut my door.
And
Go ahead to
As
Regal, and we'll say.
as my sister runs into my room.
It is I, Alaric of Spain.
Pretty sure when I mute myself, the stream can hear it, but you guys can't.
Yeah, probably.
Leper, did you hear that? Leper, are you alive?
Guys, I can't get Asani to keep sponsoring. Leper, please.
Leper, please.
when he's doing that, we'll be right back.
Yeah, like the stream can hear it. And Roger left. He dies in the Astral Sea. You arrive in Tregal. Pretty much the same thing as Bellavilla. Very, very nice. You heading to get your armor?
Yep.
All right, I'll give you that as soon as I make it.
Yeah, once we meet with the doors, that'll probably be the end of this session because it's been going on for a good long while.
About 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
You can call there if you'd like.
Good spot to end it.
All right, thank you to Dasani Water for revoking our sponsorship and taking all my money. We'll see you guys next time on Natural 1.
All right, and we're ending this after having go see the doors, correct? Or
Yeah.
yeah, okay, making sure.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.